Everybody, welcome back to the Project Manga podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, Mashle, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 40. I'm your host, Eagle.
What up, it's Kiko.
Noxie.
And Nickums.
And as always, before we get started, we'd just like to say, go ahead and visit that link tree in the description box down below, where you can find links to any and all of our online communities, as well as links to audio listening platforms you'd like to consume the podcast on, Spotify, iTunes, such like that, as well as links to support the podcast if you would be so inclined, such as the link to our Patreon, where you can subscribe to different tiers of extra content that we put out that ranges from early access to all of our content to an entire second show that we do where we cover 5 different series that are, that's pretty much the same thing as we do now, except exclusive to the Patreon. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, with that all said, man, this week in Jump, bro, it hurt.
What did you say, Kiko, in the chat? Like, was this the greatest week of Shonen Jump ever?
Yeah, all time.
Yeah,
in 60 years or whatever. I'm declaring it. This is the week.
It's very good. Like, holy shit.
I'm very sad about a lot of things.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's a very wide range of emotions that these fucking 6 chapters, all of them, like really, it's like to go on this emotional roller coaster, because I read them in the order we cover them, and I go back and read them again in the order we cover them, and it's like, it's just like, oh my god, and then oh my god, and then like, oh my god, and then I'm like, oh no, it's just everything.
I'm super hyped for the issue, but like I'm so sad about what the first thing we're going to talk about is.
I know it's one of the most depressing chapters of anything I've ever read, for sure. Let's go.
We can get right into it. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 120, the Shibuya Incident, part 38.
Shibuya is right, bro. I got Shibuya in this bitch big time, man. That's
fuck.
Damn.
Yeah,
chapter.
Dude.
Yeah. Get some F's in that chat, baby.
I might have to drop JJK, guys.
No.
Dog, for real.
I know you're kidding.
Just whoop your ass for that.
Dog.
They did it. I think they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Showing, the Shibuya just completely leveled this huge radius, where we were talking last week or whatever.
Yeah.
And Yuji having all these flashbacks of the entire Shibuya arc from the perspective of, being in the body, like, and Sukuna taking it over. I feel like they really well captured Yuji coming to terms with how evil and dangerous Sukuna is.
Yes.
Before he might have been like, yeah, he's bad, but, I can take it. I can handle it. I can go fight some people and keep it together, And he's like,
no.
Shit.
If this motherfucker comes out, it's a really big deal. Especially in the way that he did. It's like, this is what Sukuna like really means for the most part.
It's what I said last week too.
Yeah.
I mean, really the same thing. I was saying that Yuji is going to be welcoming to execution almost, like at least he's going to be teetering on that line, and
He wants to
we
die
see that
right
here.
now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said here. That I knew that's how he was going to feel. I mean, there's just no way that
adding on,
yeah. There's just no way that like there's just been so much buildup, with like Junpei and just a lot with Yuji having to come to terms with how he's justifying being a murderer, even if they've been like transfigured humans or whatever. He's still killing humans that he's got to deal with, or even he's seen it with curses and stuff too. So. Yeah, with that buildup, obviously, he's gonna be pretty fucked up. But like, I was still kind of like, I'm not really sure. Is this like him stealing his resolve? Like, or is that what? Or is he like mentally just blocking it out, like wiping it? I don't think that. Like,
wait, what do you mean?
His resolve face,
page 7, where he looks really intense. This is after he just says like, I need to move, I need to fight.
He's like emotionally devastated.
I think he's just I think this is just it's really hard to like put into words what kind of like emotion I want to say that he's feeling here, but I just want to say all of them. Like this is literally just like, you know what I mean? Like when you combine all the colors together, it makes white or black or whatever, or black actually, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no light in his eyes at all. You know what I mean? And it's very reminiscent of like the scene in Hunter x Hunter when Moral tells Gon to attack him as if he was Kite and whatnot. I know that that's two completely different scenes with probably two completely different, you know, emotions that the characters are feeling, but like at the same time, it's like it's a very similar art style used for a very similarly intense.
This looks like Togashi drew this. Actually, this actually looks like Togashi drew this.
I'm pretty sure fucking Yusuke looked at Toguro this exact same way too one time. You know what I mean? So it's like
with the wide nose too, especially like characters in Hunter. A lot of them have wide noses like that, the bridge of their nose.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. This shit is crazy as fuck, and I love how well Gege portrayed how Yuji, you know, feels about what he's looking at right now. You know what I mean? Like I feel like just like the facial expressions that we get from him, the hand gestures of his hands on his face, like oh my god, what have I done? The flashbacks to everything that happened. Him puking.
Throws up.
He throws up. You know what I mean? And then like this close up on him like crying. Like this feels so real. It feels so human. It feels like so like natural. Like this doesn't feel like I need to make my character look like he's upset right now. Like this feels like an actual person is like
scratching the pavement. That shit too. Like
it definitely does not feel
telling himself to die. Like just me, die.
It feels very real. And in this face right here, like on page 7, like a lot can be said about it, like, but it says so much more than words could. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's hard to like pinpoint the exact thing that it's saying, like it's saying a lot of things. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, stealing his resolve, I guess, feels what's happening here, you know, because you're right. He says, I need to move, I need to fight, but then he has, you know, the back thought of at this rate, I'm nothing but a murderer. So it's like that's why like both of those, the thought and the dialogue, you know, kind of conflicting with each other, felt like maybe he was trying to wipe it or something, but you can't do that. Like he's definitely going to carry on this. So yeah, I'm with that. But it seemed a little quick, a little abrupt to me to go from that much despair to Yosh. Not really Yosh, but you know.
Right. But I think like it would have felt abrupt if you didn't get that face on page 7. Yeah. If he went back to like just a regular Yuji, you know, determined face, like that would maybe be abrupt. But this is not.
This is the abrupt face of like.
This is
This is the face of like so many things have happened that I don't know how to process right now, but I still have something important to do. You know what I mean? This is like, holy shit, I can't believe I just killed so many people. I'm thinking back to everything that's going on. I puked, I cried. I don't know, some time is passing. We got an all black, you know, like panel here on page 6 above. So like we don't know how much time has passed there, but definitely in our time scrolling through the chapter, it does seem kind of quick. But yes, that face that comes to it on page 7 where he's just like, okay.
And I don't mean abrupt by like time passing, because I agree with you. That just blacked out panel there does to me mean actually a considerable amount of time for this situation. You know, obviously not days, obviously not hours, but like a good 10 minutes, which in Shibuya time is an eternity. Yeah, exactly. So like, I do agree that, but it just, you know, like. It still seems a little quick to me. Like not time wise, but just happened so fast from despair to that. But it makes total sense. Obviously, he has a lot of shit he's got to do. There's a lot of shit on his plate. Like I'm sure he's retained everything that's happened since Sukuna's been in him. I mean, you could see at least the flashes of the destruction and, you know, the murdering and whatnot. But like, you know. I assume he's very aware that Gojo has not been unsealed, you know, that, you know, he's still working towards that, and just basically the whole incident, I guess, like Getu and fucking the whole shit, basically. So
we have 5 whole pages of like really raw emotion and regret and like emotional like intensity on these pages before he goes to that phase 2. So it's like it would feel a little bit more abrupt, like if there wasn't so much attention paid to the detail and how emotionally distraught this character is for the last 5 pages leading up to it.
Yeah. And I also would probably think he's not over it per se.
No, definitely not.
Especially with how violently he reacts to seeing Mahito, obviously, what he does and everything. But like, he's not cool and collected or anything. He's very emotionally unstable right now.
Yeah, this is just like him like trying his best to like just like shut it off for a second so he can go get whatever he needs to do. Like he's just like, it is stealing his resolve. Exactly. You're exactly right. It's literally just him like, get the fucking job done and then worry about this shit later. You've already sat and puked for like 10 minutes. Like people are still dying probably. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
Wow. Nanami's alive.
I've seen him though.
So,
dude, he looks like
he's coming in like Harvey Dent.
Bro. Two-Face.
T1000, not T1000, just regular Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's a Terminator, whatever he is. Half the face busted. Shit,
no eye. So he really did lose an eye.
T1.
I think
I don't remember.
T1, T2. I mean, whatever.
Something.
I forget.
Like
but so Nanami really did lose an eye. Right?
Oh yeah.
So we have confirmation that he actually did. Crypt Keeper, he actually did lose an eye. That's crazy.
That's gotta be so painful.
I was just thinking that, like, ow, dude. And you have no medication for it. You have no, like, it's just like
the
wind and air
wandering around open air.
Yeah. Every time you move your arm or any part of your body, it would just like be the most intense pain.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see, I mean, all the way up to like the scalp, like he's been half of his body has like been completely. Obviously, that was attacked by the fish shit too. You know,
the fish took his eye out. Yeah,
the fish took his eye out, and but like the burns, you know, like it's all this damage you see.
Melt an eye. I don't know.
Well, sure.
Well, but like we first saw that, like the death swarm, like his eye was gone in the domain, but it was just a bunch of blood.
It was really bloody.
Yeah,
and he had damage on half of his body, like it looks like now. Because that's what I'm trying to basically figure out is like how much of this is Jogo's damage and how much of this is damage from Death Swarm. You know, I mean, does it really matter? I guess not really. He's it's basically all muscle tissue. Looks like a fucking Titan walking out here. You know, like all his skin is gone. That shit is very, very fucking brutal. And
Gege's using a lot of silent panels, a lot of silent pages in this. Like the two like entirely silent pages that we've got have been so powerful. Like Yuji first waking up and looking over Shibuya, and then again going into we have 3 now. So we have Nanami is like just him walking with a close up on his face, no sound effects, no words. Mahito on the next page. Mahito watching him is very ominous. It's like this is such a Mahito page right here. Like the way that he's like the way that he's sitting inside of this photo booth. And like just like the close up of like his glance, like watching Nanami walk past, like that's so frightening before you even know what happens. Like looking back on it right now, it's like you son of a bitch. Like this is scary.
I knew
as
right
shit.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to tell. Like this motherfucker is about to like he's all alone. Nanami's like on his last legs. Mahito's full strength. Clearly been watching him the whole time, waiting for him to walk into an area by himself. You know what I mean? Transmogrified humans like all around him. You know what I mean? Like this is like Mahito's game plan to just pick off weakened sorcerers as they like stumble into an area at like 10% health. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's fucked up. I'm glad. I don't want to say that I'm glad that he's here with Nanami, but like I totally thought that Mahito was going to go after Yaga and Shoko, which would have been probably a worse situation.
Oh yeah,
arguably. But like
this is the most like mean this is the most heart-wrenching situation. Like I feel like it's like we read Chainsaw Man and I feel like this exceeds what anything I feel like, and just maybe just how, because Chainsaw Man, even with Aki, it's like okay, you build up this relationship, so to speak, with this character, but like Nanami, just I don't know, like it's just a different thing for me. Like it was just the guy, and it just didn't even really want to be there. It felt like was it Dante from fucking Clerks? I'm not even supposed to be here today.
And he like for real, he really isn't. Like he was a sorcerer, then he left, then he came back because like something was missing in his life that he felt could be like fulfilled and like filled by like coming back to find worthwhile sorcerer work, you know what I mean? Like he could tell that he was always meant to do this, even though like he had this feeling in the pit of his stomach, like I don't want to go out like Haibara. I don't want to go out like, you know, everyone that I've come to love in this profession. I don't want to be the one to go out so that I can give the feelings that Haibara's death gave me to another sorcerer. You know what I mean? Like, and now here he is in this situation right now, doing that to someone else. You know what I mean? When he wasn't even supposed to be here, like he quit and came back, bro. Like that's fucked. That's fucked.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, this whole Haibara thing really hits so hard because it's like you get to feel so many things for Nanami here. Like, okay, he feels responsible that Haibara died since they were working together and they died on the same mission together. He leaves, you know, and then probably, you know, he had the thing with the girl at the bread store or whatever. The baker, and he also going to work as a salary man every day, whatever his job was, he basically saw like the evil in human through corporations. Like the bottom line is the only thing that matters, and I'm only working for like money to you know make rich. It's like my life has no meaning, and it's like to feel that empty void when you were a sorcerer doing all these things to help humanity. Like feels that guilt now too from Haibara's death and comes back to you know, I gotta basically do my calling. This is it. This is my gift. I need to do, you know, like, so I mean, there's so many things to feel before he's you know, ultimately taken out here.
And this flag, the flag that we get here, obviously on page 11, is a very clear flag. He's talking about everything that he wants to do. Like once he's done with this, he wants to go back, read all of the books that have been stacking up that he never got to, you know, go kick it in fucking
with
like
eyes.
Well, hey, chill on my man.
Got one.
But you know what I mean? Just like listing off all the things he wants to do. Like he's so tired. He's like, I've done enough, haven't I? You know what I mean? Like all of these things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not. It makes sense that he would be thinking all of these things after everything that he's been through. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I got to Shibuya. I held shit down. I got fucked up. This, that, and this. You know, I've done enough. Like, I can go back after this is done, when I survive, and just chill for a while. I lost an eye. I've given as much as I probably more than I should to this profession. I've saved enough people. Like, I want, like, legitimately, I'm ready to retire from this. You know what I mean? Like, all of that makes sense. Like, there are a lot of deaths that have this moment beforehand that, like, just are just obvious flags thrown in to make you feel worse about the character who's about to die. But this is very natural. You know what I mean? It's not just a flashback of your, you know what I mean? It's very well done and written by
resonates with regular people, right? Like we're all going to work to retire, right? Like we're all like, this is the end goal of all of our lives, right? Go, you know, off to wherever your paradise is and live the rest of your days, you know, calmly and happily. And
feed up mojitos on the beach, you know what I'm saying?
Hell like, not mojitos though.
Not mojitos.
but yeah, so that's the thing. Like for that, I feel like that's why that feels like this is so heart wrenching because it's just like, man, like you just think about, you know, this happening. I mean, just a regular tragedy of somebody just dying young. Because I mean, Nanami's like not 40 years old. I wouldn't think. Maybe he's 40. You know, I don't know.
I figured he would be 41 or 2. 40, early 40s is where I had him at. I
mean, So like, you know, he just was young regardless. Like obviously, this is an untimely death, and you think about that, like just with regular people that are working so hard for this end goal that they never get to, and it's just tragic. It you know, you think about that for yourself. It's like putting all this money in my pension right now. I could just take that money and live it up if I'm gonna die when I'm 42. But you don't know that, so like you know, like you plan for the future. You know,
just the way that like this has been kind of like built up and hinted at in his character throughout his character's history and the story. We know that he's got a girl that likes him back home. We know that he already came into this and left and like doesn't necessarily want to do this, but doesn't really find any kind of like, you know, fulfillment in his life outside of this. So he came back, you know what I mean? Like we want this scene of him thinking about all the things he wants to do after this when he's done. We want that for him like legitimately, like we want him to go do all of those things. It's not the same as like, you know, the flashback, like the because like I said, like we've seen this scene in anime before, you know what I'm saying, where a character, and we might not even necessarily know anything about this character outside of like their role in the story, like, you know, as whatever the profession in the story is, but then right before they die, we get this like, you know, inner monologue of like all the things that they actually love in life that we've never heard of before, that they want to go do like after they're done with the mission or whatever, and then they die. This flag has been used before, but it's never felt so well used, in at least to what I can remember right now, more than this scene right here with Nanami. And it's like, oh my god, and he gets such a fucking, and then he starts tearing the fucking,
that's what I'm saying, it's all around. Of the scenes, this scene obviously is the warm-up, but it's like how he goes directly into like slashing fucking curses, and then fucking boom, the hands just on him. You're just
my god. I was like, fuck, dude, like you don't even get like a confrontation, like I see you down the hallway. No, I killed all these things, and then as soon as I'm done killing all of them, boom, hand on the chest. And I was thinking about it too. It's like this death scene is so well done, because like I was asking myself, like, have we seen enough from Nanami to where this doesn't feel too soon? You know what I mean? And then I think back to all of Nanami's scenes, and I'm like, fuck yeah, we have. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we've seen a lot from
Nanami. we've seen a shit ton. He's had incredible showings throughout, even though like it's like the perfect amount for this death to still be shocking and seem too soon. It seems too soon. That's why it hurts. You're taking away someone sooner than I would rather see them go, but like he still was an incredible role in the story and accomplished a lot before he was taken.
Your Nanami in almost any story, I feel like dying is the character. Like if Kakashi actually died, like think about that. You know, think about some of the characters that you could see in Nanami's place, like Aizawa.
No.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like you look at these characters that are roughly in the same echelon. You know, like when that character dies, it's always so meaningful, because it's not like the old guy. When the old guy dies, the third Hokage, you're like, okay, he was 75 anyway. You know, sure, he went out like a G, and he helped, but he, you know, his time was coming. So like, Whitebeard, you know, you're like, his time was, he was hooked up to the machines. You know, like,
he's been on his way out for like 150 plus chapters.
Like those are great deaths, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but I'm saying like this one will always hit them. This age group, you know, children dying too is just like shock value, but like having. And is a big deal, but like this one, like it's just the perfect zone, like perfect like role model-ish, you know, enough people look up to him. He's had a lot of like good bonding moments with pivotal characters, main character, you know, it's
father figure type,
yes,
and he's done just enough
mentor.
He's done just enough in the story to where like this is the sweet spot. Like any earlier, and we would have been like, what the fuck? Like I would feel like this was done for shock value, and his character like wasn't finished. Like his character had more to do. Any later, and it's like it wouldn't hit this hard. You know what I mean? Like this is literally the perfect moment to kill his character after thinking about it for a while, and it's like, fuck, dude. Like this
is one of my most hurtful deaths. I
swear it, bro. I swear this is top 3. Most painful deaths, like, and most well done deaths in Shonen.
Saw the hand on the chest, and I just was ready to swing. See the dude break his TV. You know?
Oh my god! And then like the fucking like metaphor of like Haibara like pointing. Like after he has the hand on his chest, like, and he's totally like, and you could tell that Nanami's like, just like, like not okay with it, but he's just like, okay, hand is on my chest. I know exactly what this means. You know what I mean? And then he looks into Haibara, and you know, he's like, what the hell was I trying to do anyway? Like, I ran, even though I ran away, I came back with the vague reason of finding the work worthwhile. And then, you know, Haibara like points over to Yuji, but like, is that like, was that Mahito pointing? Like, and it just looked like Haibara, or like I know that both of them are right in front of Nanami.
Figurative.
Yeah, it's definitely figurative, like, but like I'm trying to think like
if Haibara had the hand on Nanami's chest and was also pointing, I might think it's Mahito. But since Haibara's right hand is down and his left hand is pointing, and then obviously you can't really see on page, you know, what page is this? It's 16.
Yeah, you can't really see what Mahito is doing. Yeah,
but I don't think he's pointing. I think it's only metaphorical, figurative.
No. And I was trying to think like if whether or not like Nanami was actually like hallucinating like this kind of like thing, and like what he was hallucinating was Haibara, but it was actually Mahito. And then when Haibara goes to point, Mahito's actually pointing, and it kind of snaps him out to make him look back in reality at what Mahito / Haibara is pointing at. But if it is entirely metaphorical, like that's cool. But like,
I think it is because well, the question I thought you were going to ask, when I started agreeing before you even finished it, was Mahito even around when Haibara died? I don't think so, right? Like, I mean, obviously not in this story because Haibara died like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right. Like, and
Mahito
so
is brand new.
For Mahito to see, I was thinking you're saying that he's you are. That is what you're saying, that he was actually transformed into Haibara right in front of him.
Oh no. I was thinking so like so this is what I was thinking, right? So like
it was just like metaphorical, like Haibara appearing before him to say like, yo, pass the will on to this.
So like it's definitely metaphorical, but like in the moment right here when Mahito turns into, from what we can see in the art, Haibara. I'm not saying that Mahito actually transformed into Haibara. I'm not saying that like Nanami is like necessarily like actually hallucinating, but clearly his mind is like very crazy. Like Nanami's thinking about a lot of things right now. So like Mahito's in front of him, and then in his vision it becomes Haibara while he goes into like this dream sequence talking to Haibara, and then Mahito either lifts his hand to like point at like Yuji, like, yo, your homeboy's over there, and then Haibara also does, you know what I mean, to kind of like is Haibara pointing because Mahito pointed, or is Haibara pointing because look at Yuji over here.
I got
right, but you can't tell on the next page what Mahito is doing. That's the reason why I'm asking the question. Like,
though I feel like we all agree that he's not pointing.
Okay, right, because like
I don't think so either. Yeah. But so here's what I think is happening. So when Nanami is going through his inner monologue here on like talking to Haibara basically through himself, what the hell was I trying to do? Anything? The thing you already read.
Yeah.
Basically, what was my reason for coming back? And Haibara points at Yuji.
Ah,
Yuji
there it is.
You came back.
There it is. Yuji
is the reason you came back.
Okay.
And that's why Nanami says, no, Haibara, that's not right. I can't say that to him. It'll just end up becoming a curse for him.
Yes.
And that's very true. And I got crazy to go with this because this is very important. There's no reason that like something like this, or it's very obvious to me with curse in bold that this could actually be a real curse. And so what that makes me think of, go back to the first couple of pages, I already know how I'm going to go out, and then it says, when it's your time to go, make sure you're surrounded by others, help people. That was his grandfather saying that to him.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe, this theory time, Yuji's memory altering ability is a curse in action that his grandfather actually cursed him with those words those were his last words to him, basically, before his death. Those last words that you give somebody before you die can become a curse, and that's
we see that with Yuta and Rika.
Exactly. And that's why it's important that this is on this first two, whatever, what is it, page 4, whatever, 4 or 5, where the grandfather, we're reiterating the grandfather's words here, and we are coming back to the end and saying, I'll end up cursing him if I tell him he's, and I know it's also kind of figurative, he as in this type of person, this guy, this type of person is why I'm back, like for
the future of sorcerers.
Exactly. And just what kind of person he is, like, Nanami really sees him as a true, like, hero going forward, savior of their jujutsu world or whatever. So like I just don't think that that's a coincidence.
I love that. I love that.
Straight up. And it's like, I'll just end up. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, like, basically reiterating the same thing I say. It's just like this I've been saying it for a long time. The grandfather is important. This whole, obviously, this first interaction was important. I always thought that Yuji was already from a sorcerer family, and his grandfather was too, and kind of knew that, and they didn't, because his parents died, and maybe they died doing it. So like they're like, we're going to end the line with him. Like that's kind of what I thought. He said his parents died, right? Yeah. Okay. Yuji's parents died, and he lived with his grandfather, and that was it. And so. Yeah, that was why I always was like, his parents died being sorcerers, and they said, we're not going to, continue this on. Yuji will be the first normie of our line, basically. Like, that's what I always thought. And maybe that is still somewhat true, but Yuji obviously his ability is not from Sukuna. That is his own ability.
Right.
You can either say he developed since he got Juryoku, which I don't think is the case, because Gojo told him he's not going to be able to, because you have to be born with the technique, right?
Yeah, but how would Gojo not know that he had one?
Gojo doesn't know that he had one, but Gojo said,
how
like,
would
you
Gojo
can do
not know that? That it, like, because like Yuji has one. You're saying that he didn't develop this technique after learning Juryoku.
Yeah,
you're saying
Gojo
that he
never
always
knew
had
that.
it. I wonder how like Gojo couldn't tell that he had a technique if like he's like top 3 minds in the series when it comes to like cursed energy.
Can you tell like if it's a dormant technique that's not really surfaced yet and hasn't been used ever in the story yet? Because maybe it's not out.
Yeah, that's probably.
It's just hard to say. But like I really now switching to this, that his grandfather actually cursed him with save people, which is a way a curse can be used positively, but it's a thing that's and to die surrounded around people. Like, that's the key, because every time he's in near death situations or like very tense situations with his 1v1s, that's when these memories trigger. We're all hanging out together. We're buddies. If we die, if one of us die, we're dying surrounded with each
surrounded
other.
by people that we love. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Damn.
That's amazing. And that makes perfect sense, because that ties back to Okotsu and Rika in the prequel. You know what I mean? Like, Rika is there because she died with regret in her heart, because like her and Yuta's love never like reached the point that, they knew that it had the potential to. And the reason why that was strengthened further was because Okotsu knew that, like, she's dying with regret, and his like, like cursed energy kind of like amplifies because of the regret that he has that she died with regrets. So like all of that like culminates into like why he has the level of power that he has in the prequel, you know what I mean? So it's like, that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Definitely.
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to see if this is true. Like, what other, like, we've had deaths, did maybe something that Mekamaru said on his way out, like, I'd have to go back and look at those chapters, but like what people say basically facing death, like, are these going to be some kind of like little background curses that might surface, somewhere? Like, those would be little hidden gems to find. So that'd be really cool for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's one thing that like M.A.N.G.A keeps constant in their series is like the defining like themes that like they built the universe on. You know what I mean? Like. Like the curse conversation that we just had, you know what I'm saying? And then like there's other ones too and whatnot, but like just like the overall theme of like Yuji's character and like how he feels about death and like what he wants from death and whatnot, that's constantly reiterated in his dialogue whenever something traumatic happens. And like going back to like Nanami too, it's just like the last thing I wanted to kind of like say about the situation is we've always known that the story was high stakes. We always knew that characters weren't safe and that like characters could die, you know what I mean? But like it's not like a Chainsaw Man, you know what I'm saying? It's not like an M.A.N.G.A kill where we know everyone is going to die. So like, Nanami like dying, even though we've known that characters aren't safe and the stakes are so high, I legitimately thought, I don't want to say that I thought he was safe, but like
you thought he
was safe.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, that's one that you can justify in your mind, that even on in a series with this high of stakes, that you can justify that this person has a very, very high chance of safety. Or a high probability to be safe. But nope, not in Gege's world. Not. That's the question. That question is like, so where's Maki? Where's Naobito? Where's Inumaki? Like, these characters, now that we see, and even though we knew stakes were this high, but like now stakes are even through the roof.
Yeah, and it's like, are all of these characters really going to die in this arc? Because he even has a flashback to fucking Panda and Kusakabe. Like, when the meteor was coming down, does that mean they're dead, or is that just what Yuji thinks because he figures that they couldn't have outran the meteor in time? We didn't actually see them die. We don't have confirmation of it, but that doesn't mean that Yuji can't think that. And then you have to ask the question, like, is Yuji thinking that and he's wrong, or are they actually dead because of this flashback to them? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to think about.
I think Yuji's wrong. I think they're alive. It's hard to like really say with like, I don't think Maki would die. Naobito, like, they seemed sure they got burnt and they were smoldering on the ground.
See, like, so when Jogo attacked Nanami, it was like, it was straight up hand point blank on like shoulder, boom, the flame like shot out with force. With Maki, it was just the back of his hand on her shoulder, and she kind of like lit up vertically. So it wasn't like the same kind of attack. It doesn't seem to me. You know what I mean? And like we know
Naobito, it was two fucking
with
Naobito.
Yeah, now with Naobito, but at the same time, it's like he's obviously a much more experienced and skilled, and probably I think we can safely say stronger sorcerer than Maki.
Ability,
plus
his ability.
Plus like he has more Juryoku to defend himself with than Maki would, right? So like so Naobito getting hit head on with the double volcano like beam, you know what I mean, is a really
he could be out of here, but
he could be out of here, but he could be fine. And if he's either one will make sense to me. Maki having such little Juryoku in general makes me think that like this attack had to have killed her, but at the same time it's like if Gege's going
physical durability, you can write it off for that
physical
too.
durability too, but like at the same time it's like Nanami has defensive qualities inside of his curse technique itself. You know what I mean?
He does.
So like so I don't want to say that because Nanami barely survived Jogo's attack that Maki definitely has to be dead, because she doesn't have a lot of Juryoku to defend herself with, and she doesn't have like reinforcement capabilities inside of the curse technique that she doesn't have, you know what I mean? So it's like but at the same time Jogo used a completely different attack on her, so at least that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like, okay, this one doesn't have any Juryoku, so I could probably just kill her with something like this, whereas he sees the cursed energy inside of Nanami and probably goes like, hey, I need to put my back into this one a little bit more, you know what I mean? So it could be something like that. Ultimately, like at the end of the day, I feel like Jogo underestimated the sorcerers that he attacked in that moment, and that's a really good reason why they could survive. But he saw weak sorcerers, thought he could hit him with his weakest fire attacks, other than Naobito did seem to get hit with a technique that's a little higher, but regardless, that's definitely easy to write it off with that. So I'm on board with that. Yeah, but I think we should maybe talk about this end here. Final. So Yuji, man, dude, Yuji. Okay, so I definitely expected.
Wait, just 1 second. How about the rib cage?
No, come on, man. I was trying.
Bro,
I didn't think we were gonna focus on it, bro. Come on, man. Spinal. What does Mike Tyson say in that interview?
Just intense, so intense. It's like raw.
I broke my back. My back is broken. Wait, like your vertebrae? No, spinal.
Last week I broke it training.
Oh my god, yeah, that's fucked up to see, man. That's a panel. That panel hurts a lot, and people are gonna meme that online, and I'm gonna be
the
mad.
Veins and shit going throughout his body already.
Yeah.
Yep. In the top panel,
Yep.
Wow.
Ugh.
But yeah, so Yuji sees it happen. So Yuji sees it happen, and like this, and he does snap, and like this reaction. I thought now the reaction that we have here kind of like makes sense considering all of the focus on the emotional side of his reaction to what he did earlier in the chapter. But for some reason I felt like, and there is a lot of emotion in this last face here, but like just in the dialogue, like what the hell are you, Mahito? I don't know, man. I expected him to say something different. I don't know what. Yeah. I don't know what, and I don't even know if this is a complaint. But like this is just not the reaction I pictured him having to it.
Yeah, you have to wait till next week.
Really,
for closure on that or resolution on that.
Because everything is happening very fast. He just got exploded in front of him. Like, what's the proper reaction to that anyway? You know what I mean?
I kind of feel you on that though. I kind of like expected him to say something a little different.
Yeah, I don't know what, but like something different. Yeah.
So I think this is a good time to reiterate that Mahito and Jogo and Choso were in a three-way race to get to Yuji, right?
That's right.
And Choso and Mahito both said, we just want to kill him.
Yeah.
Choso had beef. Mahito's just like, I just want to kill him because I'm fucking Mahito. Whatever. Being a little fucking weird guy. But but Jogo's like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? We were supposed to fucking revive Sukuna. Like, no, this isn't. And so obviously Mahito killing Yuji isn't going to happen because he's the main character of the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's going to attempt to kill him, which you could really see Uraume getting involved, jumping back in, like, why the fuck are you trying to kill Sukuna's host?
Ooh.
And then that's where the infighting begins, where this is where I can really see it, because we know that Mahito wants to kill Yuji. Like, that's just facts.
And now Yuji
got involved, that would be kind of fire.
Yuji definitely wants to kill Mahito. He's been wanting to. I mean, he said, I'm going to kill you after he killed Junpei in front of him. Now this is the second person that he's cared about that he's killed in front of Yuji's face. You know what I'm saying? Bloodlust is going to be through the roof in this fight, and it's going to be crazy to see.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to end with a clear victor. Obviously, we know Mahito's not going to kill Yuji. Do we think Yuji's going to kill Mahito right here? No. Probably not. So like how does the fight end? I would love to see it. Oh my god, I want this motherfucker out of here.
If it did happen, you know it would be a tight, super high diff battle. Like holy shit, that'd be battle. And obviously I do think honestly that Mahito will get beaten, quote unquote, just he won't die, right? Like he will escape.
He's gonna slither away like Orochimaru. He's gonna throw some branches and run like Naraku.
But I bet with 15 fingers, we're about to see some shit.
This is a whole different Yuji, dog. This Yuji we're about to see right now. First of all, we're seeing Black Flash in this fight, guaranteed. Guaranteed, we're seeing Black Flash in this fight, and
10 of them in a row.
Maybe even a new ability. That's like some kind of combination of like Black Flash and whatever he can take from Sukuna, since he's so much closer to like a full powered Sukuna. We could see techniques borrowed from because up until this point it's just been like Yuji borrowing that mana pool that Sukuna allows him from sharing a body. But like now that he's at 15 fingers, we could see dismantle. You know what I'm saying? Like we could see cleave or something like that. I'm just saying. I don't think he's going to, but like we could see something.
He said.
And you said, I think you already hit it on the head. Really, the first part about taking the 15 fingers in increases the mana pool, increases the potency of his Juryoku. These Black Flashes are hitting harder.
Oh yeah, everything's hitting harder.
Yeah. Divergent Fist could take out a fucking, just a building if he wants. Probably. He's hitting big. That's what I think. I think that it's just going to increase the abilities that he has. But it could also, like this cursed ability that I guess I'm deeming it now. Obviously could manifest more, and it's weird though, because the people we've seen it on
have either been a human or a half human, half curse. I don't think it'll work on Mahito because one, who the fuck does he care about? Two, he's in a whole curse. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. Is that he's a curse. So like, does it work on curses? At the very least, we can assume that it happened the same way that it did with Toto, where he's just like all of a sudden Yuji's best friend, just them two. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like
I also thinking back to when we were talking about this as being an ability, one of the activation conditions I mentioned at that time was that Yuji will have to answer a sincere question directly, truthfully to Mahito. I actually don't think Yuji is in a mental position to have a dialogue at all. It's all hands, no words. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think the conditions are possible to activate the ability. But we'll see. I mean, he depends on the question.
I mean, there's gonna be dialogue exchange, but I would assume it's Mahito like asking him like
he could just
funny
ask
questions
him, like,
while fighting.
Do you want to kill me? And he says yes, and then
but then that would be like.
But you said kind of a personal question
in terms of the question. Like a question that like the asker really cares about, but maybe Mahito does really care. We've not had the conditions explained yet, so it could happen. It just I wouldn't be surprised if it couldn't, based on
I can just see the dialogue exchange being something like Mahito saying things to fuck with Yuji and Yuji just saying fuck you, shut the fuck up the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think they're going to actually have like, I mean, at the very least he'll be like, you killed two people I cared about in front of me. Like that'll probably be the extent of like Yuji's like actual like conversation with Mahito. Otherwise rage is so high right now that like I can't see him like stopping the fight to have a real conversation with him in any regard. You know what I mean? They barely fucking spoke in Yuji versus Choso. You know what I'm saying? Like
I see Mahito winning the fight against Yuji, and like I was saying, like having the opportunity or being in the kill position ready to do it, where Uraume comes in and fucks Mahito up for doing it. That's just because even though Yuji is going to have increased fighting ability for sure, for many reasons, obviously. Obviously, the biggest one being 15 fingers now. But that doesn't mean, like, Mahito has been steadily improving too. Like, he fought fucking, Mekamaru with a totally revitalized body and like stored energy for 20 years or whatever the fuck. Like it.
And he was in like a Gundam, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So it's like you fought a Gundam, but at the same time, it's like, I wonder how Mahito like deals fatal damage to Yuji, because yes, he's grown in strength to the point where he can fight a Gundamized Mekamaru. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was really impressive, but like Yuji's got 15 fingers now, close to, like, he's pretty much all Sukuna. You know what I mean? And like that automatically, I feel like 15 finger strength puts him above Mekamaru Gundam to me in my mind. So like the only way that Mahito would probably be able to deal fatal damage to Yuji would be with his transmogrification technique. And we all know what happens if he tries that on fucking Yuji. So it's like, you try to touch that soul, Sukuna's literally going to destroy you. You know what I mean? So it's like, what answers does like Mahito, even with his increased strength, really have against a 15 finger Sukuna or a 15 finger Yuji?
Yeah, I think you're underestimating Mekamaru is basically a whole life's worth of binding vow.
Yeah, that's true.
Used in one fight, like 20 years of his binding vow. Like that's crazy. Like and to have, well, especially because like if he was using, that type of binding vow with the smaller Mekamarus, which were called Ultimate Mekamaru, I believe, or whatever. But whatever, that clearly wasn't the Gundam Mekamaru. But using it for like if he was using his own life force to like, control those and whatnot, like that was still pretty fucking strong. So I don't know, like that Mekamaru Gundam to me seems like really the strongest thing we've seen that's not Gojo and
Maharaga.
Domain. No, well, domains.
Domain expansion, Maharaga, Sukuna, and Gojo are probably the only things above that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So far. So yeah, like I think Gundam Mekamaru ain't nothing to sneeze at, and I think that Mahito beating him,
sneeze at, but like I think
he's progressed since then. I almost kind of treat Mahito like a Saiyan. Like after all of his fights, he just because his mind develops, his mind, and his Zenkai power.
Yeah.
You gotta just. I just think he's got that. Like but I don't know. Like if Yuji can just hit him a bunch of times and like I just don't know where the story goes. If like where does Yuji do after this? If he
doesn't
at least wins. If he doesn't lose, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that he can lose. I think that he can lose without dying, obviously. So like obviously, he can be. And I don't even think that Mahito necessarily needs to like beat him within an inch of his life. I feel like the fight will probably get interrupted by a third party if it is going to stop. With like Yuji just having to have taken more damage than Mahito. I don't think that it'll be like a Yuji's on the ground fucked up and Mahito's about to deal the killing blow and then someone comes in. I think it'll just be like I don't know. I think it'll be closer, to like who
I'm just
wins.
I'm just very certain Oda Ume is getting involved. Like it just has to be. Like who else would get involved? I mean, sure other sorcerers, I guess, but like that just means they're going to team up and try to fight Mahito. Like somebody has to stop the fight, right, and separate the two.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mahito is still important to Oda Ume's cause, so he's not going to kill Mahito. Like that's just why I feel like that's the biggest way to get these two to stop fighting without anybody, any fatal blows or even super incapacitating blows. Because like even if Yuji gets beat up like by Mahito and is on the ground in like in a position where Mahito could like deliver a killing blow, he's an MC. He's got fucking 15 fingers. He's regenerating now, probably. I don't know, but like,
And where is Mekamaru? He's got one more AirPod. When are you gonna? He said, "I got something else I got to do." What the fuck are you using it for? When are you gonna use it?
He's on the ceiling right now above him.
Last time that happened, Mahito found that shit instantly and fucking wiped his ass out. He's not gonna put himself right back.
He didn't find it instantly. He found him after he talked or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, don't do the same gag twice. You do the next gag.
No, I mean, no, he's doing something else. He's gonna make a move in the fight and tilt it Yuji's way.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like Mekamaru's last AirPod is just not. I feel like it would be weird if Mechamaru's last AirPod was to help Yuji again in a 1v1 fight, whereas like Mechamaru said, like, I have something else I have to go do specifically long before Yuji found himself in this situation. So Mechamaru is talking to someone else farther away, but like, who is that going to be now? It's got to be Mei, right? Because like, or Panda and Kusakabe, but like, why? You know, or maybe he's going to go get other Kyoto students. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which can be still Mei, Panda, or Kusakabe.
Toto, fam! Let's get Toto in this Mahito fight, bro. Let's get that boogie action.
He left to go get him. I mean, I guess.
Oh my God, I need it.
You know, I mean, I guess we're never gonna know, but like these little AirPods, like how long does it take him to travel since it just kind of shows up on the wall? Like, is it teleport to Toto? Does it take like an hour? You know?
I think it's more so the time it, like, if he did go to Toto, it probably happened instantly. But then like the time it takes Toto to get there, it's Toto's time.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But that is, I think, all that I have for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
All right, then. With that, I think we can go ahead and get right into Chapter 83 of Chainsaw Man. Death, Resurrection, Chainsaw.
The fuck is going on?
This chapter.
What the fuck is going on, man?
That's a great.
What is this?
Man.
Well,
so I guess let's get. We're walking down a hallway.
Okay, so this is cool. So this is Fujimoto's like strong point here. He's like, is visual silent visual storytelling inside of this first page, and like Makima,
symbolism in his fucking...
well, just like Makima, like this is just like really, I don't know, man. He's not like, just the perspective on this curved hallway is like so fucking cool.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just like
it's like a panorama.
Well, I thought somebody was saying that there's like religious symbolism in this.
Not symbolism. Those are all different levels of angels. Each one of them.
Yeah, seraphim. Yeah. I knew that it was angel related and heaven related when I saw this seraphim word, because I see that all the time in a lot of the stuff that I read. I didn't know that these were all different levels of like angels.
Yeah. So seraphim beam is cherubim.
Oh
my God! What?
Galgali is actually thrones, but it's the Latin for it's like Galgalius or something like that. That one I'm not as shit. Don't ask me shit about Latin. Dominion, virtue, power. Princey is principality.
Wow.
And angel. These are all different tiers of angels.
Yeah. Wow.
And
nuts.
So. Denji is so there's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 9 tiers. The 9th tier is Archangel, so that's Denji. Denji's the Archangel, basically Lucifer. He is Lucifer, confirmed, basically with this chapter. Yeah,
that's nutty.
What?
That's nutty. That's really crazy.
Well, there's other archangels.
Not confirmed.
Too,
there are other archangels. There's like Gabriel, Uriel, Michael.
One.
Michael, There's like 7 or 9 or something like that too. But
Lucifer's definitely one of them.
So, but she says they are all your followers. They are all your followers, and an archangel is a commander of angels, is a general of angels, and so he is definitely the archangel. Which why would he not be Lucifer? You know, like what? He's not going to be fucking Michael
Gabriel.
Who the hell are they? Like,
actually, I think Gabriel was like the second one besides Lucifer to like kind of like I think Gabriel kind of like adopted like Lucifer's ideals before he fell. Like that was the closest to Lucifer. But I think Uriel is the archangel that was like the closest to God. If there is a spectrum, I don't know. That's all coming from like Soul Cartel lore.
I remember all that shit.
But I know that author like intensely studied like Judeo-Christian like biblical like lore. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely.
I love this line that Makima says, like, they and I had differences in faith. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what is she implying there? That's so interesting.
That is a really, really interesting dialogue bubble right there.
That Makima, I feel like, has some goal. We don't know what it is still.
Right.
That these angels do not agree with, but since she has Denji, they're tied. They're in there. Like they're his.
Right.
Those are his angels that he commands. So
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what the plan really is here, but I mean, who's gonna?
Well, then she goes.
Then they shot a fucking RPG at this bitch.
Well, but before that, she says they have all been waiting for this, the day of resurrection.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow.
What does that mean?
No idea. Can't wait to find out.
Is it when finally Chainsaw Man comes out fully, you know, in this guts berserker armor kind of stuff or whatever? Like, is that the resurrection, or is the resurrection Denji going, or you know, Chainsaw Man going down the hell and just resurrecting people, quote unquote, by killing the devils in hell to send them up to Earth or whatever?
Holy moly.
Yeah, RPG.
Oh yeah, I love to see that Kishibe is just like, fuck it, all right, now's the time, let's go, because this has been building inside of his character for a long time. You know what I mean? Like he's originally introduced as like someone who kind of like seems like a right hand man to Makima. Then we see his skepticism of Makima, which is rehashed over and over again until it like culminated kind of like in, well, I mean, I guess in this moment here, but like we really saw that he was on some fuck Makima type shit in the fucking Smoking Aces arc.
Only he would have done this like a week or two sooner.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like. And it's just like
gonna work anyway.
Yeah, well, hey, you never know, because I mean, like Denji's here,
but Denji is the one that was the turning point.
Yeah, they clacked her, click click clack. Then they got the Hell Devil in there. If Denji wasn't there, how would this have gone? Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And that's all been part of the plan. And I'll just say that you think back to when Makima gets shot on the train, right?
Yeah.
First time she gets shot, you're like, damn, please don't be dead. Please, you know, like this character's super tight. I can't wait to hear the second time you get shot. Like, air that bitch out.
You better be dead after this, bitch. Oh, just kill this bitch.
Another clip.
Dude, I'm just so crazy. Like, it's so crazy how long they kept the bullets raining on this bitch, bro. Like, literally, like as soon as they start shooting.
Yeah,
it just keeps going until they slice their fucking throats. You know what I mean? Like 4 pages.
They had to keep her from regenerating. While we're getting the pact,
while we're getting the Hell Devil out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a strategy! What a strategy, though.
I do want to point out though on page 8. So like this is, you know, she's getting torn to shreds by these guns or whatever, and the anti-Makima squad is about to do the sacrifice.
Yeah.
But this bottom right panel, you know, she looks, you know, like she like it's actively focusing on her eye, and it's like what is she looking at? And I guess this might factor in later to like if you look on page 15 to skip ahead a little bit, everyone is dead. All of those SWAT team members or whatever are dead. Who killed them? How did they die?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Denji hadn't activated yet.
Rampage, but like he's not in chainsaw form yet.
Right, exactly. He hasn't turned yet.
Wow.
Yep.
So that's the same move that she used on the train.
Right. Like the reversal jutsu or whatever, you know?
Reversal jutsu.
They're all
I agree.
Themselves and shit because she's reflecting them or something.
Something like that, or just damage reflection. Just
that's a really good spot, bro.
Yeah, I think it's what we've been saying, like retribution or whatever, or reversal of, you know, like because she definitely takes the damage. Like she's taking the damage, and you can see on page 10 the whole page spread there, or the whole page panel.
Yeah,
like save me, Chainsaw Man. So, and that's I love the artistry on this because it's like the black is really the pool of blood she's lifting herself up from. You know,
wow.
Lift it, and save me, Chainsaw Man. Yeah, like so.
Then it goes into this next page of Denji with this, like, you know, intestinal. Yeah. This is like clearly a Makima related thing. This is clearly symbolizing his leash. You know what I mean? That she has on him. You know what I mean? And like, save me, Chainsaw Man. Boom. The intestines come out. They wrap around his neck. He goes into this form where he's obviously fighting for her. I feel like that's a very clear symbolism of a leash that he has over, or that she has over him. Leash. Yeah.
I do agree with you that is a leash, but I also believe at the same time it is an umbilical cord. And it is symbolic to her bond, and they are tied together as one being, basically.
Yeah. Just like back in the Gun Devil situation where everyone had like chains, or was it?
But those were just chains. Those were legit chains.
Those were like actual chains. Okay.
Like chains, figurative, but they were drawn as change.
Okay.
But then there was the umbilical cord with the angel halo.
Yes.
Yeah. And this, I mean, is actually coming out of his stomach, you know, like is exactly where it would be. And if you see, it's pulling him this way. I believe it was, if you keep going, the next page, 2 pages up, then it would be, well, I guess 4 technically with the app or whatever. But yeah, on page 14, you see him standing there, and then behind him is still the umbilical cord around his neck and behind him leading to the ground. Yep. And then the next page, page 15, it looks like it's still leading to Makima. Yeah. Even though once he activates and, you know, shundos across the fucking top and fucking one-shots the Hell Devil.
Oh my God.
It's been severed. It's been severed at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe that it was connected to her, even though you couldn't see it. But there's I got so many more things. I mean, just
crazy.
Right from the beginning, first page. Like, tell me Makima's indifference to the situation isn't the most chilling thing that you ever see. I'm just gonna fix my tie.
That's what I was trying to say. Like in the beginning, you know what I mean? Like the visual storytelling that he uses with like no sound effects and like where it's just silent pages are like some of his best pages that he drops, because it's like it's telling so much about the situation with no words, you know what I mean? And it's like exactly what you're talking about right now, her indifference to the situation, like just another day at the office and get this tie right, you know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck you, bitch. Gonna be like, exactly.
It's like Fujimoto is like spitting in. It's like, I'm gonna act like she's relatable, obviously that she's like fixing your tie and lint rolling yourself, you're a dog or cat owner, like it's like, this is just a regular part of the day getting ready for work, you know? And it's like, obviously, this part, sure, if you just look at this fucking one page, sure, all right, this is a relatable character here. And then you look at the next page and you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is crazy.
Is this really another day at the office? Hold on.
I didn't know bug-headed, severed-headed people on the ground, weird four-eyed people are all part of the day. You know, it's a regular day in her office. But it's crazy that we haven't seen a lot of these, like that we only saw, you know, Princey, I guess, Angel, Power. Virtue is, or not Virtue, but Galgali is...
Violence or whatever.
Violence, Devil, and then Being. I guess so. It's like we haven't seen 3 of them.
We have not seen Dominion or Seraphim or what even is Virtue? Virtue looks like it has like some sort of weird hands and feet. Look at its hands and feet. Virtue.
Yeah, it's like a bug too. Right. It's like a couple of them are, and it's like, you know, maybe it's, you know, locust and, you know, plague related.
Sure. Yep.
That made sense to me. But a lot of people I think miss this is that, so on page 13, when they're all sacrificing, Makima team, 6 people sacrifice themselves, it's actually their intestines or entrails coming out of their body to form the Hell Devil.
And so no, keep going.
I was just saying that's very important, because we've already seen the Hell Devil once. It was the 6-fingered fucking hand that came by, and they gave up a grown man and 3 children to transport all these people to hell with just the hand. So
that was 6 the Hell
people,
Devil.
That was the Hell Devil. And these 6 people dying, sacrificing themselves, this is nowhere near the Hell Devil. This is some very minor form of the Hell Devil, because think about the Gun Devil, right? How big and intricate the Gun Devil was. That's not a Hell Devil. You'd assume the Hell Devil would be a you know, higher ranking devil. I mean, you don't.
So this is just the amount of the Hell Devil that they were able to call with this big of a sacrifice.
Yes, because if you think about it, 270 million years of time was sacrificed for fucking the Gun Devil, where only 6, the rest of these 6 people's lives, I mean, say they live 40 years, you know, like it's not 270 million, whatever
not.
Right. It's nowhere near that. So like the hours of time, if you looked at it simply that way, like this makes sense that this is some weak ass, you know, lesser form, you know. And I believe, like, obviously you could say like the fires, you know, Hell Devil fires, sure, you know, like that's just going to like, but I'm pretty sure there's a centaur that it's like the boiling river or something that they threw people into, and man, my Christian lore, or whatever,
yeah, you could, 4 Horsemen vibes,
especially with the 4 pillars on his back there, on his arms.
Let me go back and look.
4.
Sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, wow. So this someone in our Discord said something like really interesting, right? So Shiloh Alibi. Shout outs to that guy, by the way.
What up?
That's Shiloh's great. He said, did anyone else notice that Denji's like berserker armor form, or this true chainsaw form or whatever, has attributes of all of his followers? So he has horns like Power, bulk like the Violence Devil, skin like the Bug Guy, arms like Prince or the Spider, you know what I mean, etc.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was like, damn,
his feet definitely are like the kind of bug type feet as that headless one.
Yeah.
In the hallway or whatever. He does have power horns or whatever.
Yeah. That's really fucking cool. Shout out to Shiloh.
That is super. That's a great spot. Spot.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I mean, I was calling him, Sakun Man,
Sakun Man.
Just the forearms, and I don't know, is it 4 arms or is there more? It looks like just 4, but like, I don't know, with the way it's drawn, maybe there's only 4, right?
Just four.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. Because I was just thinking,
it's like 2 arms where the 4 arms are doubled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's only two biceps, 4 arms.
4 forearms,
yeah.
So that, I was thinking maybe since we have that spot on, if it's Prinz, if it's supposed to be a spider, that maybe there would be more limbs, but
Oh, but keep in mind that the legs have not done their chainsaws, so there probably could be 4 leg chainsaws, which would total
break apart at the knee
for a total
or whatever,
of 8
down to the
spider
shin,
legs, and then the head one for the mandible or whatever of the spider. So I do think that's a great spot. I do think it is spider so devil ability.
What if the leg chainsaws, they come out and then they flatten out to be like Tank Man, and then he's just
god,
that'd be
roll it.
That'd be interesting.
Wow.
The funny, so like I did not catch at all that this leash or whatever is an umbilical cord, and I do like that it is umbilical cord better than intestine or whatever. But the kind of funny joke I thought of was like, he's obviously berserker armor, and what he's got wrapped around his neck is guts.
There it is. I mean, hey.
Knocks your face. It's like, oh my god.
I like it.
I was like, don't laugh at the pun. Don't laugh at the pun. I had to.
Hey, you never know. These manga be getting slick with their shit, They could be,
I do like though that the leash looks like a scarf. It actually looks super tight.
Yeah, it's tight.
On this page 16, 17. It just looks cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of Shinobi
19 too.
Yeah,
Shinobi on PS2. You still ain't beat that, huh?
Hell no, nobody's beating the game.
What you mean?
He's lying his ass off.
No,
get him out of here.
I'll post the screenshot.
Okay, PlayStation 2, 2003.
I took a picture with my Nokia. I'll get it from my. It's on my MySpace, bro. I'm gonna go grab that
shit. These last two, this double page on the last 2 pages or whatever, this are
amazing
slaps and
super
blood,
duper slaps.
So much blood and
good.
all these guts everywhere. Like there's not just one umbilical cord. There's like tons of intestines everywhere. Obviously, because he just sliced up this intestines monster Hell Devil guy. But it just looks so sick.
I think I'm gonna make this my new background on my fucking
That's my
computer.
New background.
Yeah,
on the computer. On the computer. Ooh.
Yeah, on the computer. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm sure, Kiko. I think you had a lot more to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
not my chair story time here.
Oh, I just remember you saying like I got a bunch of stuff on this, and you only said like 2 things. So then we interrupted
so maybe
you.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we already talked about the 9 choirs of angels. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the stuff we did, like the 250 or 270 million years or whatever. Whatever the population was at 98 in America or whatever it was. That definitely, like the unfinished Hell Devil, because that's the thing, like, isn't this character model, this fucking whatever model, underwhelming? Like, isn't this devil underwhelming? Like,
the Hell Devil?
I feel like it's purposely underwhelming. Like,
I think it's only underwhelming because it got one-shotted. I feel like if we could have seen exactly what it was supposed to do, then it would. Then obviously, I feel like the design is like half of it, and like what it can do is the other half, and we didn't get to see.
What if it's not dead?
So. Yeah, and it could not be dead. It might not be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Could just have been cut. Exactly. I like that.
The thing I don't like fully understand is like, and obviously Hell Devil, this is the Hell Devil, right? But like, what you mentioned, Kiko, was that when we saw the original teleport to Hell, like the original sacrifice, there was that 6 fingered hand.
Yeah.
Why does the Hell Devil only have 4 fingers?
Because it's not it's not all of them, right? This is just like the representation
So
that we get.
So it's like kind of telling us with the 4 fingers that this is not a full manifestation of the Hell Devil.
Right.
If it was a full manifestation, it would have 6 fingers or whatever.
Yeah,
and I like that.
And I took the 6-fingered hand as like literal size to actually come and grab the people out of a department store, basically a whole floor of people on a department store, and just grab them all and drop them.
And that's the shot that we saw with him after he dropped them. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, I feel like the actual Hell Devil, that's probably more to scale on what his actual size would be. Yeah. One hand as big as a whole fucking skyscraper department store floor, you know, like that makes a lot more sense, especially when we've seen a big giant ass fucking gun devil that looked like it was as tall as a skyscraper too. Yeah. Like there's, you know, just
that makes me wonder, like, is it not simply the amount of time used for the sacrifice? So for example, the gun devil, we'll say 270 million years of time or whatever. Yep. But that was just 1 year from everyone, right, individually. And in this case, in this chapter where the Hell Devil summoned, it's like 4 or whatever, 6 people.
Yeah, and these characters actually died.
Right. And
so
they
like,
died.
It's different conditions for different devils. You know what I mean?
I was going to say that like these guys have, say, an average of 20 to 30 years tops, because they're, you know, devil hunters, you know what I mean? Like maybe more like 5 years, 10 years, whatever.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
And their 5 years in terms of potential is not very wide, right? Like they're already in a job, they already have families and goals and stuff. So their 5 years is very one-dimensional. There's not much that you can do. A child, though, the 3 children of the original summon in the department store, that's like 70 years of infinite potential, right? They could be a doctor, they could be a lawyer, they could be a bad person, a good person, they could do anything. Yeah. And that's like, so maybe the length of time is multiplied
by how many different routes you can take.
Yes, exactly. So that's why the Hell Devil was so much, because like even those kids, it was only like, you know, say like 300 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where this is like, you know, maybe 20, but like 20 to 300 doesn't give you a giant, you know, devil that's really like 6-fingered.
Dude.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I do think that we can't paint with a broad brush as far as like what sacrifices are worth, right?
Exactly.
I definitely agree with that. So there's definitely a lot that we could still learn about how this works. But absolutely, I mean, for a Hell Devil to get one shot, to barely have any shading on his model, like it's you know, like that's just not like.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. Barely any shading on his model. I don't know why that's such a funny thing. Because it's right, dude. He has like no shading. He's literally just like one color and then like.
Yeah, it's not Fujimoto's best work for sure. Like, and I feel like that's intentional. You know, I mean, at least. There's so many crazy like panels in this, you know, like that you know Fujimoto had to spend some good time. Like look at the fucking SWAT team. Like look at their gear. Look at them come running in like that. That's some serious artistry right here. Like he really killed it on those panels, you know. And so sure, I mean you could just kind of chalk it up to, hey, we used a lot of time on this last panel with blood and shit everywhere, and we used it on some of them, or the explosion panel and some, you know, and that makes sense, but. I don't know. Just, you could do a little bit more with that model, right? The little character should be a little more menacing, a little bit scarier, I would think. And so I think there's more to see from the Hell Devil for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. With that, I think we can go ahead, move right into chapter 29 of Mashle.
Bruh.
Magic and Muscles. Do Barrett and the Tempestuous Magic User.
Wow, dog.
So while as we begin, I want to point out for everyone, and obviously it's very easy to see, like the chapter title is Dot and the Dot Barrett and the Tempestuous Magic User, and it used to be spelled D-A-U-T.
Yeah, doubt.
But it's always, and I went back and looked at the kana or whatever. It is Dotto. You know, like D-O-T-T-O. Dotto. And I think it was meant to be French, you know what I mean? Like some weird spelling, D-A-U-T, like it was meant to be French, and and the literal exact same people that translated it back then spelled it D-A-U-T. For whatever reason, now it's Dot. I'm not a big fan of it.
I was gonna say something about that too, but like
Did you guys peep the translator's name? Sounds like a One Piece character, Nova Skipper.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this guy from One Piece? Like, I don't know. Maybe they got a new translator. I haven't been paying. I usually look at the names of the translators, and I've never seen this name before. So, I mean.
Yeah, Nova Skipper.
That ain't his real name.
No, hell no. That's a fucking translator name.
That's a pen name.
Yeah, sure.
It could be, who knows?
Right.
But dude, I love this fucking chapter, man. Wow, the gag,
great
the gag aspect is coming back to the story, obviously. Yeah, but it's not like it's trying to make up. It's not like it's trying to make up for lost time or anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not like extra gaggy or like more gaggy than it ever has been because of how little the gag has been, or because of how much the gag has been gone from the story up until this point. It's literally just like a perfect amount of gag and still a very serious situation. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's cool that like Hajime Komoto knows, like, just has really good timing with it and really good awareness of like when and where to place comedic elements in the story. Like, you still need it because it's a funny story, but like when it needs to be serious, you're not accidentally using too much gag in a situation where it might not need it. You know what I mean? He has very good comedic timing and awareness, and I love that. I definitely thought Finn was going to activate in this chapter. At least that's what I was expecting going into it. But I love more doubt moments. That's totally fine. And holy shit, do we get one? Like, wow.
So the fifth Fang, Love or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Her ability is tornadoes, wind or whatever.
Tornagus.
I actually really, really enjoy the fact that like Dote has had this entire time this cross under his hat this entire time, under his headband rather. Yeah. And he's fighting someone with wind to blow it off, right? It's not like, oh, I got punched really hard in the side of my head and my headband came off. Like, let's give a at least semi-plausible reason why the headband would come off in the first place. So I was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I think her having wind magic and her being the tempestuous magic user is fitting with, her name, Love, and her fucking personality and shit, because obviously like they say love is a tornado and shit. It's tempestuous.
love is a hurricane or whatever.
Yeah.
Love is a battlefield.
I was gonna say that too. They say love is a lot of things. Yeah, dude, at the end of fucking Small Soldiers, they play that song. Remember the movie Small Soldiers?
It's been ages since I've seen that movie.
I think they play that at the end of that movie. I have a memory of that. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. Small Soldiers fans, correct me in the comments.
Do they have fans?
Small Soldiers fan, let me know.
Small Soldiers was the shit.
Small Soldiers was so good. I'm a fan. Holy shit.
All right.
But yeah, dude, this was cool. Yeah.
The gags, it's good that it was the first couple of pages and then that was it, and it's did anybody when Dote's, well, I mean, there's a little more, I mean, but for the most part, like she says, daddy, told me if men can't, love me and whatever, then just kill them,
kill them.
Yeah, I think that plays more into just like how crazy she is than like the gaggy aspect of like the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like
still fun.
Yeah,
and it's telling of nobles, right? Like this is probably a fairly, it doesn't have to be men. This was probably just the spin her dad put on it for her, basically. But basically, if people can't do shit for you, kill them. They're not worth it. Like people aren't worth, if they're not useful. Like that's how nobility feels. Like that's how they feel. Like
we've seen this a million times.
Pay taxes.
Oh my god, I love the action in this chapter. Everything is illustrated so beautifully. I love this guy's art so much, dude. Like he's got such a good like artistic sense when it comes to like contrast and when it comes to like shading and when it comes to like knowing of where to apply more detail and less detail and whatnot. But overall, I feel like there's like a blanket level of detail over like anything that happens, even when it's comedic. And I just love that passion and that attention to detail inside of this mangaka.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's consistently crisp. Yeah, like is like that word I would use. Like it's just really, really clean art. all the time. I love in terms of action and obviously the art slaps the whole time, but like Dote, like boom, 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 like makes like kind of a smoke screen and then goes for the wand, like some strategy here.
The choreography is so cool for a magic like caster story.
Seeing
you know what I mean?
Seeing a caster who's going to do something physical, like, and obviously we have MASH, but like aside from that, like we're not going to see like these wizards physical, really getting their hands dirty. And I feel like Dote is going to be one that might, continue with this. He's definitely the type, he's got high durability. We've seen him taking attacks, like spells getting hit with and he's been getting hit with spells and trying to beast them. He tried to beast through him with the other guy, whatever, an arc ago. One of the other shitbags doing something. I remember who it was.
Well, they reference back to in this chapter in a flashback. It makes sense. It makes sense for Doubt's character that he would get physical. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a rock dude, but it makes sense for Doubt's character that he would employ like certain tactics like this in his fighting style because he is explosion magic, you know what I mean? Like explosions happen like suddenly big, like bursts of like unexpected things, you know what I mean? So it's like him causing an explosion smoke screen and then explosively jumping in to try to like cut through the debris to try to grab your wand. Like it's totally in character for him to be the kind of character that would do something like this in combat. Yeah.
And I love so that's when his headband gets knocked off is when he does go for the grab and then she puts him in the tornado and he's stuck in the tornado and did anybody else hear sickle and tornado? It's fucking Shorin from Yu Yu Hakusho. Like that's as soon as I saw that, I'm like,
oh my god, I could just hear bro.
The promo too from Toonami back in the day.
Dude, wow.
What the hell is this? When he's like looking, you guys looking up at him, he's coming down like, but like I just nostalgia feels like I felt that.
Did not think about that, but that's hilarious. Oh my god.
Another cool thing about this is that now once Dote gets his shit blown off and his hair starts flowing, he looks like the pretty boy that he hates. Now he is a pretty boy now. This once he gets rid of his dumbass headband, like his hair goes back, like he's got his mark, his like energy is like flowing, I guess, or whatever. And tell me he doesn't look like, a pretty boy now. He looks cool, like especially the ones page 17, my friend who got angry on my behalf. Like you get to see the side profile there. Like it's just really cool that there's that gag that he has that I don't know. He's probably always going to be, tactless and kind of doofy. And he's got the headband, which I don't know, maybe makes his head shaped weird or whatever it does to make him not look as cool as this, is he's going to stick with that. But like, I don't know. What if Lemon sees him like this, and then it's like, oh my God.
Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Where did this guy come from?
About to put them cuffs on him, lock him up, Cuff that man. Cuff him.
It's cuffing season. It's almost cold out.
So we get to see a flashback with him in terms of, he was bullied as a kid and a little like timid, you know what I mean? Like not sure of himself, not confident, not standing up for himself. Yeah. Big sister seems tight. Cool design, like obviously very similar to Dote. A very similar marking on her face. Is it
similar or the same? That was the thing.
It's similar. Hers is more.
It's a little whoosh. Yeah. Well,
no, it's just more up and down, more. Just more.
Seems like it's curvier.
That's what I was thinking. A little bit curvier.
I think that's just her face, I guess. But
maybe it's the face. But that could also be her age versus young Barrett young Dote that he has the little.
Hers seems tighter. Like
tighter for
like you scaled it down. Like you scaled it down.
His is like.
I see it. It is more compressed. The jumps, the spikes.
Compressed tighter. Yep. That's a good way to say it.
And then I love this this Dote looking up to MASH, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And obviously he's upset at himself for not sticking up for MASH as much as he can, and then kind of like going Super Saiyan, leveling up his what is called the warding cross.
And I love how it's not just a second spell, like it's just not Doubt second. It's a completely different situation inside of like what we understand about magic. So like it's still early enough for you to continue to keep giving us like new things about magic, but also we're in an arc where they're introducing already another new level called Second, and you're just not giving Doubt that. He's got a completely different thing. I really liked that. because I totally thought this was gonna
cruise.
Yeah, I totally thought it was just gonna say second explome, you know what I mean, or something like that, because that's the theme that's kind of been.
But he's only a one line, right?
But he is only a one liner, and I think second has to be double liners, right?
You definitely need to be a double liner, yeah.
To have a second spell.
Yeah. Okay. So he's only a one liner. He can't even do a second spell.
Yeah.
But he can do this or whatever.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this Super Saiyan or whatever, this Ira Cruz or whatever.
Terry Crews.
But page 18, when he first transforms, the speech bubbles he has are really intense looking. So I'm hoping that, like, say in the anime or whatever, there's gonna be kind of that
augmented voice.
Augmented voice. Yeah. I think that'd be super tight.
Yeah, that would be sick.
How about the like the silhouette of like the actual Super Saiyan?
Page 20? Bottom of page 20?
Yes.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Sick as fuck. Is
that foreshadowing that he's going to get 2 lines? You know, because that's a double liner.
He has 2 lines on there.
But that's not him. That's not him.
That's just a representation of the Ira Cruz.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's not actually him. So
that's a very good point. Also, because the wand in that panel is just straight
it's
wand.
Just regular shit, but he has like a barbed, emo, like goth wand.
Yeah. Good spot. I thought it was him, so that's a very good spot.
Yeah. I think it's just like foreshadowing that all these crossed bearers eventually may grow into 2 double liners or who knows, triple liners. How many
it's going to be so sick the first time we see a single liner grow a second line, bro. Like,
it's going to be so hype. It's going to be so hype. It's going to be mega hype. Yeah. And isn't that cool? Like we already have we got a Super Saiyan right here. Super Saiyan, like an ability activation, and it's so hype. It's going to be so hype when a double line first happens. That's going to be wild.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Eagle? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and then we get the machine gun explode.
So cool.
Machine gun explode.
I was saying
Hellzone grenade.
He's about to get
Hellzone grenade
on his that or on his like Mario Leona mana zone.
Oh yeah,
where he brings all the fucking blasts in from different directions and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I thought of Hellzone grenade instantly. I used to play Piccolo pretty much like exclusively in Dragon Ball games. Yeah, and all of them just to throw Hellzone grenade. Yeah, it's just such a tight ability.
That is so sick.
But what else did I have?
Did you guys ever notice how like all of Captain Ginyu's attacks in like all of Captain Ginyu's attacks in the Budokai games are like milk based? Because his name is like Captain Ginyu, and like milk in Japanese is Gunyu. You know what I mean? It's a play on like food. All the names are like plays on food, and like in Dragon Ball, so like all of his like attacks in the game are like Milky Cannon. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
All that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. That was always funny as hell. How about Finn? She's calling him Freckles. Like I just never like. Have Freckles ever been like illustrated on him? Like
wait, who called him Freckles?
Love called him Freckles.
When did she say that? On what page?
17.
Now that he's out of the way, I guess I'll deal with you, Freckles.
Oh, Finn.
Yeah.
Talking to Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I agree. I don't really ever recall him being drawn with freckles, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that some kind of like derogatory term in their world? I don't know. I mean,
I guess.
I don't know. Like, what would freckles mean? I don't know. It seems so weird, and there was just a little. I don't know. Threw me for one there. I'm like, what's going on here?
Comments remind us if we're just forgetting that he's been drawn with freckles ever. I don't recall.
Yeah.
I don't recall. Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was to say we've seen his family members. I don't think any of them have. Yeah.
Right.
I do want to touch on this before we're done with the segment because when Eagle was doing his like live readings and reactions on Twitch, someone in the comments, I can't remember who, was like confused on this dialogue on page 22. And it said 30 minutes before he turns to stone, ? There's no way I'll let you two stop him. And they thought that Love was saying that, but no, it's definitely Doubt saying that. Yeah. And he's saying that to Love because this fight started with 2 mages in the room.
4 and 5 or whatever.
Yeah, 4 and 5. And then the 4th left to go do his thing. So even though he's not there, he's still talking to both of them. Like, I'm not going to let you two... stop him or whatever. Holy shit, I just dropped
Yeah. But
I just
we didn't even touch on the whole mash turn into stone thing, really.
Right.
Right. So now we have a time limit on this situation, which is going to add like tension, I would assume, to the later conflicts in the arc. Do we actually see Mash get turned to stone, and then other people have to like pick up the pick up the slack to like save him, or
I see him turn to stone and flex out of it.
Yeah. That has to be what it is.
So
right?
good.
I don't know. I mean, it'll be good, but I just don't want that.
So it's just like a stone layer around him, or does he turn to stone himself through and through, or is it just a layer of stone around him? Because if it's just a layer of stone around him, we could be pretty much guaranteed that he's just gonna flex out.
If it's a layer of stone around you, that kills you though. You die from suffocation and whatnot.
Unless you flex out.
Stone, but if you turn, I know, but like just I'm just saying the application of the ability. Whereas like if you're actually turned to stone, it's like your life has been suspended until you are unpetrified.
You have 1 minute to win the battle or die.
Final
Fantasy 7.
Whatever.
Or whatever. Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Petrified.
Throw him a soft.
Yep.
He's good.
Yeah.
Soft.
Oh my god.
Let me see. I thought I had something.
Final Fantasy items and spells, bro. It's so funny.
Yeah. We come with them.
Yeah.
But so Love has a staff, not a wand. Like that's the first time I feel like we've seen somebody with a full ass staff.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up too.
Maybe the headmaster had a full.
And I think
the other one had a staff too.
Yeah,
he had like a voodoo, like a Baron Samedi type like voodoo like staff. Yeah, with like shrunken heads on it and shit. And he had like a fucking like whole necromancer cap on.
Yeah, which is weird that he turns you to stone. You know, like you'd figure. I don't know. You just figure like the ability would be
or something.
Or you know,
he wishes he had that kind of ability, but unfortunately,
witch doctor type shit. Yeah,
you know, don't let me get a piece of your hair. You know, I'm gonna Nobara you, stick the nail in. You know.
Oh man, I'm ready.
That's all I got.
Then the last page, you know, he mimics Smash.
Yes, mimics Smash.
So good.
I love that panel.
Love it.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, and then
same dialogue
ran
and
home
everything.
to her daddy. Ran home to her daddy. That's not another teen movie. You don't remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. That is not another.
That fucking douchey guy, the douchey blonde guy.
That's probably the fucking comedy movie that I've seen the most times. Like out of all comedy movies that I've seen, I've probably watched not another.
Just the way she's talking about daddy this time, you know. Felt fitting. But yeah, that's all I got.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. With that, I think we can go ahead and get into this next chapter. Chapter 263 of Black Clover, Shadow Intel.
Fire.
And we start off here with the popularity poll cover spread.
Super cool color spread. I love this color spread.
This was amazing.
I don't know about Ghosh getting in there. Though. People, Japan, get it together, bro. Like, come on, Ghosh.
How is Charlotte number 3?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
They have bad taste.
That's just horny kids that read Black Clover and want to smash.
It's gotta
Charlotte.
be.
Yeah.
So is she the hot one of the story? Like, is she really? Where's Vanessa? Where's?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just something about like dominating like female characters that like is really doing it for.
But we threw all that out the window in the last 100 chapters, right? Like,
well, yeah, but I mean, like she's still like the fucking like Wonder Woman archetype. You know what I mean? So it's that's probably really hot to a lot of people.
And Leopold's
goof ass
characters.
Yeah.
Leopold is the guy.
Leopold is the guy. No. Leopold is the guy.
Cool. Yeah. But cooler than half the characters, really? Like
Luck.
The only character I would argue.
No, Luck's in there.
Oh, Luck is in there. Okay.
And he's above Leopold. Yeah.
Okay. Say what?
But
Mary Leona. Where's she at?
Yeah, where's Mary Leona?
I don't know. People ain't rocking her, I guess.
Like, I mean, Gray. I mean, I think Gray should be in there before. Fucking who? Gray.
Why?
Fucking Cinderella Gray, bro.
Which one does she do again? She's the healer.
The
transformation magic.
Oh
yeah, she had a big moment.
She's just been like cute and all this time, and I'm saying with the timing that her character has developed so much recently. You know, it's there's a lot of characters I think you could fit into here. Like honestly, I like Gordon, even though you don't get nothing.
I fuck with Gordon heavy.
That's what I'm saying.
Where's Charming?
Yeah, and see, like the whole like Gray like development thing. It's like.
It was around Gauche, which kind of made it a little weird that second time.
Leopold's
but the first time,
development too here, and he did some badass shit.
Leopold
and we got
has
Squad
had
in this
really
motherfucker.
cool
we got Sakurai, we got Noel.
Well,
I personally feel like it would have been a better.
It
would have been a better moment of development for Gray if she would have failed what she was trying to do, or like she didn't even do what she was trying to do. She unlocked a completely new thing that she didn't know she could do. Is that development? I don't know. I feel like development would have been like, I didn't do what I was trying to do. I failed. Like, let me, like, self-reflection is always like some of the best development that you see.
Progression.
Yeah.
You know, progression versus development is always like the hot button topic. Do you know the difference?
Yeah. And I don't know, man. I think, Gray's. I forgot about Gray. So
he just wanted Ghost to die. He's a.
It's not even that I just wanted. It's not even that I just wanted Ghost to die, but I just.
I mean, he might be touching kids, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like if he did die, it would have been really well placed. If he did. In my opinion,
right?
Tabata just
as we discussed at that chapter. In this chapter,
we
lead into back to the meeting of captains, and everyone's like, I've never seen you before. I'm going to attack you. But Julius obviously recognized the guy, so I did enjoy that. At least someone in this room knows who this dude was.
And oh my god, this double spread is fucking beautiful. Jack knew who he was.
No, kind of. Eventually, he didn't right away. He was like, I saw you before. Yeah.
Oh
these devil things though.
But yes, this double spread is fucking beautiful. All of these devils are crazy.
Me of like Nen beasts.
Yeah, it definitely does remind me of Nen beasts. Their designs are all incredible. They're all just as like scary as they are like goofy,
cute,
which I think is like cute or goofy, which I think is like really cool.
Makes them a little creepier.
Yeah, it makes them a little creepier that they're trying to be cute at the same time. The cat one is definitely the most frightening. I saw someone say on your reaction stream earlier on Twitch that this winged one looked like Ryuk from Death Note, the Shinigami. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Or it reminded them of it. Yeah.
The bowl one looks like what Lucci wore when they're invading. You know, before anybody knows who CP9 is, when they're running in fucking iceberg like shit.
No face.
Yeah, from Spirited Away.
Spirited Away, Yeah, that's definitely super cool. I don't think they're separate devils. I think they're one. It's just his one devil, and he's manipulating it with shadow magic to
could be for sure.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know if I want to expose myself like that.
Expose yourself. Speak your truth, King.
I've only ever seen, as far as
Miyazaki movies, Spirited Away.
Movies, yeah.
Spirited Away is the only one.
Oh, you've only seen Spirited Away? That's okay. I mean, you're not too far away from me. I've only seen Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away and
Princess Mononoke.
I feel like I should see all of them. Though.
You should see all of them, and I should see all of them too. But I've only seen those three, and I constantly get flamed for it. By, like,
I missed the sale on Ni no Kuni. Makes me sad.
Really big Studio Ghibli fans that I tell that to
was really good.
Well, are like, what do you fucking mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you just don't like Studio Ghibli, or like what, bro?
It's a video game made by Studio Ghibli.
What is it?
Yeah, there's two of them. Ni no Kuni. Yeah, they were on sale on Steam, and I missed it. I'm dumb as hell.
Yep, you blew it.
I am.
Yeah, so like Julius says, you know, like, okay, he's a spy. He also didn't know he's a devil host. Yeah, and so this Jack dialogue I think is super interesting. He's like, he remembers seeing Noct and Yami together. And he says, hey, like, aren't you but your magic was, and Noct's like, that man is gone. What the hell does that mean? What the
Finally
fuck?
some very intriguing plot thread here to be interested in, because
I need to find out what he meant by that. Yeah,
it's got to be tied to the fact that he has 4 devils under his control or in his possession, right? Like maybe 5
with that little baby.
At that point, you lose more of yourself, or possibly all of yourself. You know.
Yeah.
And you're completely different person.
So here's my question though, you guys. Here's my question though. So it's like, okay, so all of these devils like show up around these captains and they got them like hemmed up or whatever. Could they do you guys think that they couldn't do anything about these devils?
Fuck no. The captains would have just blown those motherfuckers away.
Okay. Because I don't want to believe that like this dude just has 4 devils that could completely pacify 4 captains on his own low diff. Like I don't like that. This is literally just like, so like what is like, I understand that like you want to like show, oh, he's got devils, they're really fucking cool, but it's like, are these actually doing anything? If these like I understand like you want to like tell everyone to calm down, but what if they didn't want to calm down? Like what? Like what? You're gonna look really fucking weird if fucking Fuego Leon decided, fuck this devil. What you mean?
You can say that about so many scenes in all of anime and manga, right?
Sure,
like, what if they did something else, right? So like this is literally just to get their attention.
It's not just what. Well, sure, if it's just to get their attention, sure, but it's not just what if they did something else. It's like, is there actually a possibility that they could do something else? Because in a lot of scenes where we see, you know, an ominous figure like put their arms around someone and tell them to chill out, there are a lot of scenes where we could be very confident that they couldn't do something even if they wanted to.
Right.
Now that thing is in has ensnared them. You know what I mean? So it's not just what if they could do something else. It's like,
I think it's a be cautious thing. Don't move rationally when we have these fucking shadow fucking devils, especially when people are saying
you never know what's going to happen.
Devils. And you're saying they got devils. You know, this whole meeting is because your two strongest captains, you know, arguably got swept away by devils. So like these people got to be cautious on their movements at this point.
Right.
So
you are totally right.
That's what I felt like.
That is the exact reasoning that I was looking for there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and what we've been talking about with Noct here being very ominous, very, you know, it's just his whole character is questionable because we get obviously a couple more panels. You get the panel on the top of 14, and that's fucking Shigaraki face basically with the fucking
I loved that page, bro.
Yeah, and
then he goes right back to ha ha, you know, with the Brock eyes.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you got Brock eyes, if your eyes don't open in anime and you smiling all the time, you're up to something.
Yeah, you're on some other shit. Yeah.
Other than Brock, well, Brock was up to something. He's always chasing, you know. He was trying to get it, but
chasing tail,
just some booty.
But
he would like some booty.
Some big info from Nox here on like the plan and shit.
Yeah, this is cool. This is really fucking cool. Yeah. And it makes sense. Okay, so like this is the best way for us to get this information because it's like this plot thread has been like hanging for a little bit now. We know that there's been, you know, a spy in the Spade Kingdom. We've gotten that information already. So it totally makes sense that he would come into this deliberation with information on the next phase of the story, right? So it's like now instead of just like running around like chickens with our heads cut off, like let's just go bum rush the fucking like capital or whatever and get our homeboy back. Now it's like, okay, we have information that lets us know that we can probably play this a little bit more Ocean's 11, you know, instead of, you know, like rush through the fucking doors and just like attack versus attack kind of situation. Like there might be a little bit more depth to this plan now that we have information about what their plans really are on the Spade side of things. So that's really cool that this information was given in a very organic way. That had some build up leading up to it. So I'm really
this was well executed chapter.
Very well
overall.
Executed, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't fully understand the image, the diagram on the top of page 11.
Yeah, with the devils.
Yeah, I mean, like, it? Yeah, it's with the devils and like
on top of page 11.
Yeah. 10. I got it for 10 up first.
Oh, for 10.
Maybe.
Okay.
For me it's 11 or whatever. But 10, page 10 with the circular like kind of like doors or whatever. Like and there's 7 of them. That made sense.
That's 9 for us.
That's 9
I thought you were
us.
talking about when this says there's 10 devils. Yeah, 10 devils matched with 7 gates.
I'm saying the page before. I'm saying the page before. 7 gates makes sense. But then you go to this like 10 devil diagram. Why are there 8 lines? I just don't understand this diagram at all. Like there's too many lines. There's
9 levels on this, right? 2.
Yeah. So what?
4,
like how?
6, 8,
so maybe
9.
it's like hell, like 9th circle of hell.
4, 6, 8.
But then like why the 7?
Yeah. Like,
and then why the 10?
Mean?
And then why the?
So like
7, 9, and 10.
We have 3 numbers.
I just have to
ignore it.
Yeah.
If someone in the comments or something could, or someone if one of you could
it's
explain
probably
it to me,
lore
like,
related in some degree. That's like not evident in the actual chapter. It probably links back to like Norse stuff. To some degree,
it definitely could, and the 9
Tabata
levels
does
of hell,
a lot
like,
of that. Yeah,
that's a good shout out or whatever. Like, but I just don't understand. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah,
no,
I don't get it yet.
was in the same boat with you because it's like the first level does have multiple devils on it, and maybe that first level doesn't count. Maybe that's the human world. I don't know. And the multiple devils, even though there's only 2 of them there, we have at least 3 with the triad. We got Asta, and we had the Words Devil. Word Devil probably doesn't count, but whatever. It's like we at least have 4, and now 5 with Noct with devil packs. So like that doesn't really make sense either. But if there's 7 levels and 10 devils, there's obviously multiple devils on some levels. You know,
right. So
for sure.
The craziest thing here that it said is that the upper devils are the equals of the Dark Triad. So he's talking about that first level with the 2 in it.
Yeah.
So then we can be pretty positive that they're never going to get to this ultimate devil all the way at the bottom, because if that dude comes out and anybody that we know about in this world beats it, the power scaling is going to be ridiculous. That's not going to make any sense at all. Like, you're telling me that like the ones all the way at the very top just smoked some of the strongest characters in the series.
Yep.
One new character has been introduced that's not at the level of the dude that just got smoked. You can assume that that Noct is arguably or definitely weaker than Yami in a 1v1 situation.
He said he could not be the Dark Triad. He says it flat out.
And he says he cannot be the Dark Triad. So you have like the Dark Triad devils, and these are like the true versions of the devils, right? So like this isn't like the devil like packed versions of them that are like existing or living vicariously through the Dante and all of them.
Right.
This is, you have that level of strength all the way at the top. And then it goes all the way down.
As devils are as strong as Dante with 80% or whatever, devil usage.
Lucifer.
And then you have the ultimate devil all the way down here at the bottom of this diagram. He's never coming out. He's literally like, they're never going to reach that. Because if they do and he comes out, who is going to beat him?
The Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior has to know.
Bro, I had to go watch Ultimate Warrior promos because he said that. I had to go watch him because Ultimate Warrior is the most lunatic, fucking crazy guy ever. Go watch his promos; they're hilarious. But so here's the thing: is that there's 9 squads and there's 10 devils, so 9 plus Asta. I mean. Is that how it's about to shake out? I mean, I don't know. Like that's so hard to say, but like these devils, or I mean these captains have to get some more showings, right? Like fight wise, like they've had some, but like like big 1v1s. If
it's all 9 squads together versus whatever this ultimate threat is, and then they beat that, like what's the rest of the story then? Like how are you ever going to match that in like that kind of conflict in scale? And maybe it goes into a more like personal like character
or maybe
like style
the story's
of conflict,
over.
like or maybe it's ending exactly. You know what I mean? Because it's like this is a really big deal right now, and it's like and Black Clover is definitely one that follows that shonen blueprint of like escalating threats, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the word devil was a really big deal. That was crazy. Holy shit. And then it goes into, this kind of situation where it's like, okay, an army of devils now. So like what's beyond this if you're following that blueprint, unless it's either ending after this or it goes into a more personal character driven conflict kind of storytelling situation where the threats aren't like of the same magnitude, like physically, as opposed to like the entire world is at stake, but now like personal like physical or personal character things are at stake. You know what I mean? You can definitely write really big deal things in a very personalized, controlled like situation that equal, as far as like scale goes on that.
We could go into systemic things. I think that's kind of where you're going, maybe like some of the systemic issues of this world that we're in. To me though, Black Clover doesn't seem like a story that would be able to go from giant devils to some smaller scale, but still as riveting, like
on a personal level
type shit
for characters involved, not the world at stake. But
and Black Clover just seems to be the type that kind of just like Tabata kind of writes. I'm just going to fast track the information on how we fix things, right? Like it's just we're going to give it to you. I mean, pacing has always been a little too fast. We haven't gotten some of the character development and interactions that some people prefer in their manga, and to each their own, but like I think this just seems like the end. Like if this actually
otherwise it would be very
way,
awkward for the storytelling pace to slow down after something like this, leading into because we don't get too many like downtime moments in Black Clover. We might get a chapter and a half max before it goes back to a high octane pacing again. So for you to do that from arc to arc to arc since the beginning until now, and then slow that down to focus more on characters at the end of your story, I guess it makes sense if you're ending it. But if you're not ending it, then like a bunch of downtime like that comparatively from the beginning of your story until now will be a very awkward change of pace going into the next conflict, no matter what it is.
Right.
So
I think you start
Natsu no Taizai situation.
Right.
You don't want the fucker to end forever. You're like, we're still this ain't done. This ain't done yet. What the hell's going on?
If Black Clover turns into 7 Deadly Sins, I don't know, man.
But if you remember, chapter one, the original Wizard King or whatever Magic Emperor fights this devil, and at the beginning with where Asta trains, you have this devil skull or whatever. Like I think it would make a lot of sense to start with the hype of devils. You don't even know that they're devils necessarily. It's just like a big monster or whatever. Yeah. Fast forward to the end, we're fighting devils or whatever. So I think honestly, this does seem like final phases.
So we don't get angels then? Like, are we not gonna like? It would make sense if we're getting this much devil for there to be angel at some point, maybe in this final conflict in some kind of regard. But that would feel weird if like no angels are talked about all the way up until the final conflict, and then angels are shoehorned in at the end just so that you can have that dichotomy. I don't know. That would be.
I mean, like Chainsaw Man. I don't think we're gonna see angels or whatever. Like there's angels, devils. So
that's
like
very
I don't
good.
know,
That's
like,
very good. That's a very good.
You don't need angels.
But we have the angel devil, so at least we have some kind of like, setup to angels if they do show up in Chainsaw Man eventually. But
I guess more I'm saying is that like they're demons, they're devils, they're demons, they're evil monsters. We don't. That doesn't mean there has to be necessarily magical good things in the sky or whatever.
Yeah, that's true too. Sure. But then why focus so much on like the religious aspect of it if you're not going to impose?
Because it's a cool reference or whatever that the author thought was cool.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Even though you have Lucifero and devils, like it doesn't seem. I don't know all of like the lore that Tabata's using. Like it doesn't seem full on Judeo-Christian like
there's like Norse.
It's like Norse, Judeo-Christian. Like there's even some Buddhism in here somewhere because it's
Advent
Eastern
of Kelapot is not. This
Kaiser
tree
was telling me it's pronounced Clyfoth.
Clyfoth. That's a really cool way to say it. See, shout out to Kaiser.
If you just go to Wiki and look at it, it says Kelapot. If you look at the, what do you call that? Where it actually.
Like in the parentheses, and like says the
guide or whatever.
It's called. There's a word for that, but whatever.
Yeah. But so I want to talk about, Noct is like, we're gonna make Asta our ultimate warrior because anti-magic, it's just a good idea since it's a magic story or whatever. Yeah. It's great or whatever. Fine. Now he says in 3 days from now, the gate to the underworld will open. Before it does, we will destroy the tree of Kefaloth or whatever, Kifloth or whatever, and
Sephiroth.
But like, what I'm wondering is how in the hell is he going to train up Asta in 3 days? Is Julius gonna throw out a hyperbolic time chamber ability?
Ooh,
that would be
Julius
something.
Only knows like 3 of his fucking spells.
Yeah, maybe one of them is a hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah, maybe one is that. But mostly I'm just saying, mostly
that magnitude at that age.
Why not?
We don't know anything about anything. I'm just saying, how are you going to train up Asta in 3 days?
What does age have anything to do with it?
I think with the fact that he has 4 devils, possibly 5, I think he knows some shit and can possibly like manipulate that side of things to crank shit up a notch.
Yeah, you mean he's just really good, a really good teacher.
Well, no, and it's no. I feel like what he
something out of Asta as far as devil manipulation goes, and crank it up in that.
But that still seems too fast for 3 days, even if it's like that.
On some ritual shit.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was. I was going to try to fill that in because that's what I felt like you were saying too. Is that it can be that Asta is already an ultimate warrior, right? So
and
we know he's the most.
He just doesn't know how to access that.
All he needs is to be able to get to the devil. And if you do some fast track ritual, you do sacrifice something, some years of your life, whatever it is. I don't know. Like there could be something that explains this well. But 3 days definitely doesn't sound like it, especially like and we're just talking about Asta to get him ready as an ultimate warrior.
Right.
I feel like, do we need to get ready? The rest of these people ready too? Like,
that's also a thing. Because
but
none of the remaining captains are as strong as Yami or Vengeance. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So they can't beat any of the Dark Triad. They can't beat the first level devils.
So it's just Asta one-man army. Yeah, you could team them up.
It could be a team battle for sure.
You could team them up, but if we go back to what Kiko was saying about how there's 9 squads versus 9 devils or whatever, then like we have to start talking about like how many of these devils are we going to see from this diagram? Because it's like it's like if they take the time to explain that there's 10 of them and then you only see 3 or 4 of them, then it's like, okay, well, like half your stakes just went away because we're never going to get to the ultimate devil. If we do get to the ultimate devil and then you put 9 squads versus 9 devils with the ultimate one that Asta fights at the end, then I mean, like, that's cool, but, like, is this fast track like training that he's going to get going to make sense for him to beat that one ultimate devil by himself?
No.
Like it's like either way, there's a lot that has to be done to make sense of this, and I feel like I really like Nick's idea of Julius having a hyperbolic time chamber kind of situation, so that you can literally just like stop the time, put everyone in the hyperbolic time chamber, and this will be a huge like Dragon Ball tribute, you know what I mean? But that's the only way that you're going to be able to make it make sense, because 3 days just isn't enough. Stop the time, train as much as you want, and then come back out, and a lot of things make a little bit more sense as far as how they're going to deal with this final conflict that they're looking at here. So
I think ideally you don't want to let the levels get down that far.
Right, sure.
Yeah, like,
sure. But then now I'm going to feel
if the
robbed.
final devil comes out, not only if the final gate opens and Lucifero comes out, not only do Yami and Vengeance die, but it's explicitly stated by M.A.N.G.A that the world is finished.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like right away.
That could be like metaphorical, like we're fucked, but we could fight back.
I want to save Yami and Vengeance, so like ideally, you're right. It's probably not going to get to that point. So
right.
I don't know why you're so upset about something.
Because it's so lame. It's like, show me the final boss. Like, let me get to the final boss. Don't talk about the final boss if you're not going to fucking do it.
Well, and so there can also be a situation where the doors are closed and they do interrupt this, but there's still a whole nother plot thread of just devils in general, and they need to go to hell or something, which I don't know. I wouldn't like hell. I wouldn't want to go actually here, but could we ever have the fight with like some of these devils later on in the story?
Yeah, okay.
So we can.
Yeah,
we
that's
can
cool
have
too. Then, yeah, sure.
Because then the story's going to progress still, and it's not over in the next 100 chapters.
Yeah, so they don't get to Lucifero in this arc. Like they stop the plan and don't get to Lucifero in this arc, but then later on, by them getting to Lucifero in a different way than killing Yami and Vengeance, we do eventually see him as a final boss, kind of say, or maybe Yami and Vengeance do die and they save him here, and then they die in the exact same way later for whatever reason they would do that. I don't fucking know, but like I just feel like it's weird that they would put so much emphasis on Lucifero. We already got the word devil coming out, which was the worst case scenario in that arc. So why not get the worst case scenario in this arc that is supposed to be a bigger deal than the last arc? It's just weird that we would never see this final devil ever, and if we don't see him in this arc, then like they're really gonna recreate the conditions to give it to us like in another arc, you know what I mean? Steal Yami and Vengeance again to open up the fucking gate, you know what I mean? Like it's just I'm very confused as to how it could progress. But
if you throw out the potential of Lucifero actually coming out, and then the reader is imagining this fight, you don't let it happen, then you extend out the story to let it happen, that's 7 Deadly Sins. That's the oh my god, we're really going through another arc to try and get to the end of this. Because we can't let Lucifero be. He could come out later and kill the world. So we gotta we gotta use our chance now to kill him or whatever. It's like
I just think the specific conditions of like needing Yami and Vengeance to reach Lucifero is going to be so awkward if like they have Yami and Vengeance now, they go save them, you don't get Lucifero in this arc, but then Lucifero comes out again later on in the story. How? Unless Yami and Vengeance are there. So you either have to recreate the situation where Yami and Vengeance are used again to bring him out, or he comes out for a completely different reason that's not been stated already, and he just comes out anyway.
I bet you can make it work though. You save Yami and Vengeance. You make the situation fine again. Everyone's fine. But then they purposefully use their magic together to
accidentally bring Lucifero.
No, intentionally, but not as sacrifices. They just willingly use their magic to open the door or whatever.
Why would they do that?
To go fight him.
Dante. So here's the thing I think we maybe aren't taking into consideration. Dante is the host of Lucifero. Lucifero is his devil. So so like that's obviously hugely in play here somehow. I mean, I don't obviously know how exactly, but it just, for Dante to lose the fight against Asta and Yami, and for Xenon to win handily, and then come in to save Dante. Obviously, we talked about a little bit of infighting there, and that's possible. It just, man, I just can't wrap my head around how Dante has the craziest, scariest devil. He's using it at the level he's using it at
80%.
And he's still not good. I mean, obviously he was good. He was very strong, but like it just, he seems like a bumbling fool to me at this point.
Yeah.
Like how you have everything laid out for you, and maybe he is. You know, you have seen like the theory that he's asked his dad. I don't like that. That's terrible. But like, I know why would that ever happen?
Why?
But like, I don't know. Like that's just something that I've seen. But like, the only thing that made sense is that they both were untactful, I guess. You know, you know, and maybe, you know, there's. Obviously, I would never like that, but there's just definitely something about Dante that's making him lesser than the other two, you know, because there's just no way that you have Lucifero here. So I just feel like his weakness as a person, you know, as a host, is going to be some issue with Lucifero, where I don't think he just comes out of, you know, they don't just jump out of the human, you know.
Oh, dude, maybe later on in a conflict after Yami and Vengeance have been saved, fucking Dante comes back for revenge, hems Yami up, starts sucking his like darkness magic out of him, and then Vengeance is like, I have Tree of Life magic, I could help Yami here, and then they accidentally combine magics and open up the portal while he's trying to save Yami, who's getting his like darkness magic siphoned, and then like the combination of like Tree of Life magic and darkness magic opens up that portal and like tricked him into doing it. Or maybe he gave him no choice. It's like, I'm going to kill Yami here unless you save him with your Tree of Life magic. And then he fucking shoots it at him, and then it opens up the portal.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's interesting. Definitely like the scale. I don't fully understand the scaling, I guess, as you were kind of saying, Kiko, because like you have, as you said, Dante, 80% devil user, like he was beaten by Asta Yami. They've already beaten, you could call it last arc, or maybe it was some arcs ago. I don't know what the arc line is, whatever. But they beat the word devil. They beat the word devil. Maybe devils aren't as strong as we think they are. You know what I mean? Like they're very strong, but not like godly strong. But at the same time, if that's the case and devils aren't that strong, then what's the danger of Lucifero coming out? You know what I mean? Like
maybe it's the danger of Lucifero coming out, but like there's no anti-magic user involved in that scenario. So if there were no anti-magic users, there would be no hope. But like Asta is there, so that
I don't know. I think Lucifero is every bit as menacing as Noct says he is, but the reason I think that is because the word devil, I'm pretty confident was stated there was a weaker devil, and it took like the whole goddamn kingdom to kill him. Everybody had to fight him. So like,
I mean, it was basically like a 6v1 or something. It wasn't
like, what were those other four doing? Like that really made a difference until Asta and Yami's attacks combined, because I'm pretty sure no one could do anything. And then eventually,
and Asta combo, they had like a 3-way combo attack. Didn't Asta and Yami?
I think so. Sure.
Yeah.
Was definitely involved on taking him out. And so,
but like, how useful were everyone else outside of that triple attack combo? Because it's like the whole
there was like Licked out there doing some shit. There was fucking
the fucking
and the original Wizard King. Yeah, but I just remember that word devil magic just like extending out and just like destroying anything it came in contact. You couldn't even get near it. Magic that like tried to attack it got evaporated. So like what, they slowed the spread down until the combined attack like killed it? Okay, sure.
Basically,
they covered up everybody with their magic in the base so that nobody got killed. They
but also kind of like slowed the spread.
But it kind of like slowed
the original Wizard King combined their magic to cover everybody in that light sphere that protected them from that shit.
Yep. Sure. You're right.
So who's stronger, Word Devil or Dante 80% with Lucifero?
Word Devil. I think Word Devil is I'm pretty confident Word Devil is stronger than all of the triad and any one of the triad. And maybe and maybe,
which makes me think, like, what difference is that 20% going to make?
Certainly Dante at 100% wouldn't be as strong as Lucifero. It's still filtered through his body or whatever. There's only so much room for the magic
100% Dante could mean 50% Lucifero if Lucifero was just himself out of the world.
Right. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Cool direction. I'm excited to see the battles or whatever. I'm ready to get into some
very
cool
good chapter.
Battle.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Black Clover, and that's how you can gauge how good this chapter was.
Definitely.
We really had a lot to say, a lot of paths that we would like to see the story go. So I'm excited. Definitely.
For sure.
Me too, for sure. I'm good.
This last spread got me hype as fuck.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With all the captains and
Hey,
that panel with his eyes and the
Dorothy Unsworth soloing the whole verse right now. She's about to put you all to sleep. Drowsy, Dream Eater. She's gonna hit you with the whole Pokemon combo, bro.
Yes.
Like, the Dream Eater combo.
Yes.
Like, bro, Dorothy Unsworth might be some real shit. Like I
Freddy
really want
Krueger.
to see her do some shit.
Dorothy
yeah,
Unsworth
Freddy
is
Krueger.
definitely some real shit.
Bro.
So is real.
Yeah, real.
Yeah, real too.
Yeah.
But I can just picture fucking Dorothy Unsworth standing on the ceiling, dragging somebody by her hair, walking on the ceiling upside down by blood like Freddy Krueger. Like, dude, that would be so crazy.
I would love
bro.
that
Like,
homage. Please
like,
give it to us. Stop it.
some Nightmare on Elm Street fucking shit, bro. That'd be
Yes.
so tight.
Yes.
Jack is some shit too, bro.
I can't
Jack-
wait for Jack to activate, bro. He
Jack
needs.
is Sakuna.
Jack's magic is crazy. The fact that it adapts and can like eventually cut through.
Yeah,
anything.
just
Jack
gets
is
sharper.
Sakuna.
Yeah,
Tight.
just
That's
gets
so
sharper
tight.
depending on resistance.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
dismantle
that's-
and cleave, right?
yeah,
like
that's
it'll
amazing.
eventually get
It'll
that's
eventually get through.
basically I can cut anything
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
Love
And,
that.
like,
So-
you know, Jack
so-
is about to activate. bro.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
For
yeah.
the man's for Yami,
Yes.
he going in. I'm
Yes.
so hyped.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Jack's one of my favorite characters in the
But
story.
yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
me
like
too.
Real
liked
is
him.
honestly underrated because like his magic is OD. When we
Yeah,
were introduced
super.
to him,
Yeah.
they made a
The painting
very
magic?
hard emphasis
Yeah.
on the fact that his magic is crazy.
Yeah, because it's all magic
elements at
depending on
will.
his imagination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
exactly.
Have we ever saw what this new purple orca fuck can do? You know,
I asked
the
that
little
last
hair?
week. I asked that last week.
I
don't think so.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
I don't
remember.
recall.
Yeah. Okay. Me
I
neither.
wanted to say he was the glass dude, but the glass dude died. He was Golden Dawn,
Yeah.
right?
Think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah. The glass. Yeah. Yep. That
Yeah.
was the other chubbier guy. Yeah.
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 But Real looks really determined here. Like Real actually
Yeah.
got that game face on. Like,
Yeah.
I like seeing Real that way because he's been so goofy and dumb and like inexperienced, even though his magic's strong as fuck. And you know, he was always a funny character. That I mean, it's one of those like basically imagination is your strength. And
Yeah. He's got the
With the
Shonen
painter-
MC face on right now, though.
yeah, he's about to do it. You know,
Yeah.
he's about to do something. He's gonna be worth something. I hate fucking those.
But
I
yeah.
don't give a fuck. Drop his ass off the cliff. I hate that bitch.
Nah, so I'll bring him along. But
Yeah, you got to bring him
I
along.
think
He's strong. but, like,
one thing, like, one person I feel like we are like, I don't know, with the one captain I feel like maybe that could solo a devil is Dorothy.
Sure.
That's I'm with.
Bring
We've
their ass
never.
into that
Have we seen
dream
her? Have we
world,
seen?
bro.
Have we seen her? Oh yeah, the Dream World thing.
Yeah, she just put a
And
bunch
they're
of
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she just
that
put
is-
On
everybody in the
paper,
dream
it
world,
sounds
yeah.
right, but you never know with these devils. They just fucking like flex
Yeah, like,
and
what's
then
a
go,
dream
devil
world do a
power.
devil?
I'm awake
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? You never know.
Do devils sleep? Do devils dream?
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
You know. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. This is a
I'm
good
good too.
chapter. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess because the world is putting you to sleep, but she also controls like reality completely in there, so she can
Right.
Yeah, once you're in
Once
the
you're
dream
asleep
world.
in
Yes.
the dream world, yes.
Yeah.
even if you ain't falling asleep, you still gonna get these hands, bro.
Yes.
The pause is coming.
Okay.
Alrighty then, with that, I think we can go ahead and get right into chapter 283 of My Hero Academia. 75.
Wow.
This
Yeah, this
was
chapter,
quite a chapter.
There was a lot
cover.
going on here.
Was chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, great great cover, or whatever.
I love how the kids see the destruction that Giganto Machia is inflicting like on his warpath here, and the like psychological like situation of like
Yes.
it's not just we failed, it's did
Yeah.
we cause this
Yeah.
because of what we tried to do. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you wouldn't in a lot of other stories it would just be like we blew it, guys, he's still rampaging anyway, like
Yeah.
we just didn't do enough. But in
Yeah.
Hero it's okay, like are we the reason why he's going on a rampage like this because we tried to hit him with a sedative and now his body is reacting to that sedative in a berserker kind of rage, even more berserker rage than he's already been on. Like, did we amplify this situation? Did we make the right choice? And I love that Mineta is asking this question because I feel like he doesn't really get a lot of spotlights, you know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
cool that Kohei keeps in mind characters that haven't been used all that often, like maybe they should have a moment here. He keeps in track. It's so crazy how he keeps track of all of these characters and how many moments they've had and who could use a little bit
Mineta
more
feels
spotlight.
right here to
Yeah,
me.
it does.
He
does.
feels like the right character to say these things.
Yeah,
Like I felt
yeah.
like this was a fitting spot for him, definitely.
Yeah.
And more everything that you're saying. On top of that, we're not even formidable enough opponents. Like, so it's like there's a lot of they were like demoralized in so many ways right here that they're gonna need like a morale repair arc after this. Right? Like I really don't even know, like, this fucking chapter, and not only this chapter, just what's been going on in this story. It's like I really have a hard time predicting how things are going to go after this arc. Like it's so crazy, and like to have all these students, like they're demoralized here, and they're really going to need some time to fix themselves inside, like what has happened to them, because Majestic is killing him. He's dead, right? Majestic's getting trampled right here, saving all the kids, sacrificing himself to save all the kids. So like Majestic's a G to go out like, no, you guys made the right choice. Don't ever like doubt what you did.
Yes.
All we did is what we could do in this situation. Basically, you thought a fucking sedative would work. How the fuck do we know he's a giant goddamn Nomu?
And it's not going to work. Yeah, you had no way of knowing. You did everything you were supposed to do.
Yeah. So like, all these kids that were involved here, they're gonna need some psyche repair, you know, a little bit, and so I mean, it's not like Denji psyche repair. He's but they're definitely gonna have to get their just morale, I guess, up to of being a hero. Period.
Right.
You know, like
I'm just trying to remember the last time in a story where like it really felt like after all of this like time and effort and everything that's been put into stopping villains, that like it really feels like they're not going like I feel like the villain organization threats are rarely shown with like this likeliness of victory. You know what I mean? And it's like everyone is doing what they can. You have all the best heroes here. You have all the best students here. And time and time again, it shows how on point these villains are, and they just keep besting him at the end. And like, you want to say the heroes are going to win in the end, but like, you really don't know. And the fact that like you really don't know is huge in shonen storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the last time that I felt stakes this high, it's like obviously Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, you really feel like the bad guys could win that. My Hero Academia, like, you really feel like the bad guys could win that. But like Hunter x Hunter, Chimera Ant arc, like there was a point where it like shifted where I was like, okay, I know they're going to win. But like up until that point, I was really like, oh my god, these ants might win here. But I was never like convinced like the heroes aren't going to win, like I am in Hero right now. You know what I mean? As crazy of threats as the Chimera Ants were, and we had every reason to fear for them, and they had an amazing showing of how strong they were and why you should be worried about them. I never really thought that the heroes were ever going to lose. You know what I mean? And I just think that it's so cool that we're seeing stakes of this level inside of My Hero Academia that everyone likes to call a generic shonen, when there are so many things that are like not generic about it, and that's such a very surface level like assessment. Because sure, like on paper, on the like, you know, from the outside looking in, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like school story about kids growing up and being superheroes with a really bright color palette and like really, you know, like slice of life elements to it. You'd never think that despair would reach levels like these inside of the story. Yeah. So,
and not only do you not know the heroes are going to win, you don't know what the villains are going to do. Like, are they going to go and destroy all of Japan? Are they going to hunker down and like form like this super underground like League of Villains Mach 2, Mach 3 now, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so much potential for what could happen from this point. It is completely up in the air, and that's a huge, it really makes me like, I am on the edge of my seat, and I've been on the edge of my seat for like 2 months now. It's like so good.
Like, I can't really drop this. Like, even if I wanted, like, there's no, like, you have to know what happens next.
For now.
Like, there's literally no reason why anybody should be like, I think I'll take a break from Hero right now. Like, no, this is physically, literally keeping you in this story right now because of how many unanswered questions there are, the potential for things that could happen that you need to know the answer for, all of that shit.
What Nick's saying here too, I really like the uncertainty of what is going to happen regardless of the outcome of this arc. Like, if Shigaraki can basically, you know, jump on Gigantomachia and they run off into the distance, you know, he gets pushed into a corner and they just bounce out. What happens? If they wipe these heroes, and like, you know, obviously Deku and Bakugo and Todoroki, you know, Shoto survive, and like maybe they kill the rest of them. Like, then what? Like, it's like no matter what happens, there's so much uncertainty. Where like your example, Noxie, with the fucking Chimera Ant arc, if the ants eat people, they keep eating everybody and just take over the whole planet. And it's just,
exactly.
So it's like you can't. You knew what the end goal was for these ants, just, you know, by way of, you know,
they said
course.
What their plan was. Like, this is what we want to do. We have no idea what the fuck these motherfuckers want to do. And that goes back to like a point that I was making about like shonen storytelling. It's like, if I don't know how the heroes are going to win, that's a big deal. But like, it's not just that. Just like Nick was saying, just like you were like reassuring, it's like, even if the heroes win, what does that mean for the rest of the story? Like, what does that mean for society? If the villains win, what's their next move? How they win is uncertain. You know what I mean? Exactly what you were saying. It's like, there's so many layers.
You can go and see like basically an endless bottom of people's theories on what's going to happen next in this series, and it's like, you know, hey, draw them out of a hat, because it's like that's the only way, you know, like your best chance at guessing what's going to happen. And that's always a huge part of, because like also Noxie's saying, like, why would anybody quit right now or take a break? Not even quit, just take a break. And it's like, you know, I harp on the art and how I can't see what's happening, and there's some of that in this chapter, but it's like the story is so good and so riveting. It's like, if I can't tell what's happening in a couple of panels, and I can maybe just kind of like make it work in my mind, like, okay, this is kind of what's happening, whatever, you know,
story's
like,
still bringing me here, like I got to see what happens next regardless.
Exactly. I'm not going to, you know, like, it could be basically one drawing this and be a bunch of fucking squiggly stick figures, and I'm still going to want to know what's happening in this story right now. Like,
yeah, dude, wow.
So we get back to Dr. Eggman being taken away by the cops or whatever, and he's
good shit.
And he
can he get another DJ punch, please? Just DJ
I
punch
know,
the
just
fuck out
keep
of him.
jawing his ass. Like, shut up.
Like, how are you getting words?
Yeah, like, how have you not been knocked out since the last DJ punch? Like, you're literally 80 years old with no physical capabilities of any kind, and a superhero just punched you with one of his tightest attacks.
Right.
What a
Anyway, we get his confirmation that the Nomu are modeled after Macchia. We had some like couple chapters ago, like, oh yeah, Gigantomachia has multiple quirks, and it's like, oh damn, really? Like, that's crazy. But now we have explicit confirmation that the Nomu were modeled after Gigantomachia. That's super tight.
Because what does that mean? Where the fuck did he come from?
Crimson Riot.
Yeah, I mean, I love that theory in terms of the haircut or whatever. That's just so wild. I can't.
Riot.
It's
that
the
would be
haircut
fucked
thing.
up, man. I remember you bringing that theory up, and that would be actually pretty huge for
That'd be super huge.
Hiroshima.
Yeah.
But I mean, what is it like a Blackbeard situation? Did he eat another person and get their quirk? Like, how does he have multiple quirks? You know, and obviously we don't know that that's what Blackbeard did, but that's like the most common. You know, whatever he ate Whitebeard's heart or something. But like, but yeah, like, is that like? Is Gigantomachia out there eating other people with quirks? Like, how the fuck did he get all these quirks? You know, like, it's crazy.
Don't we know that the scientist, like, puts the quirks in you? Don't we know that?
Sure, but
we know.
But like, why Macchia the first? You know what I mean? Like, was his body just so big that he could fit as many quirks? Because he was already big, right? In that flashback with Mina or whatever, like, he was already like super tall. Not as tall as this though.
Twice, three times as tall as they were.
Right. So like, we don't know yet, like, what about Macchia allows him to be multiple quirks, the root of the Nomu, the kind of stuff. That's super excited to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. How about young Shoto helping dad out? Cool down, buddy. Let me hit you with the little ice shield. Cool down, lady.
Some tough acting to acting.
See, and that's like, boom. Got John Madden out here, bro. But like, so Gigantomachia is coming with Dabi on his back, right? And we should finally get this thing that we need.
You're
right?
so ready.
I'm ready for that shit too. Give me that.
But yeah, we need it. But like, man, with Shoto helping Endeavor and giving him ice to cool him down, and it's basically, you know, filling up his gas tank, I guess, or I mean, lowering his damage tank, whatever you want to, however you want to think of it, for him to basically be able to fight again. Like, it's showing that Shoto and Endeavor fighting together would be super tight, and he basically could use his ice quirk to do what he does to his own body, but for Endeavor's body. And like, for that, man, like that's so cool. I hate Endeavor, but like that's so cool that like Shoto's like, you know, coming to this realization. Okay, here's how I can help my dad, you know, fight in these battles that is desperately needed right now. And then when Dabi comes, like, is it going to be like a 2v1 because Endeavor's going to be hurt and they're going to like, I don't know, but like I just, as much as I've always kind of wanted Endeavor to die by Dabi's hand, like. I don't know so much anymore after this. After seeing and it's nothing that Endeavor did. It's all Shoto. It's like that's how tight of a character. Like I love Shoto. Like and he had a lot of good progression. And he's kind of been like tabled for a while, which you know, even though you had that like 1 chapter or 2 chapter, you know, back to his house with Endeavor. But that's you know the Todorokis as a whole. That wasn't really Shoto's development. That was the family development and Endeavor's development more than anything. So like I really want. Man, Shoto's making me want to keep Endeavor around when I've been wanting him out of here. So sure. That's good. It's cool though. Like I really like that. You know, it made me feel that way. I'm like, all right, man. Endeavor, back out here. You know.
The characters are written so well that it's so easy for like any kind of interactions that they have to sway your emotions in one way or another that you have for certain characters. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been built up so much and they're so humanized and they're so deep. That like one dialogue bubble or like one conversation or like one action that they have with another character can completely change how you feel about them because of how built up they are. You know what I mean? It's like
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. That's great storytelling and like, I mean, Endeavor's still a piece of shit in my mind, but like you know, if he
is still a piece of shit in general, and he's had a good redemption arc so far.
Well,
we have no idea what it's going to be, but
and he still needs more redemption.
And it's moving in a good direction.
Can he be redeemed? We've had that conversation. I think sure. I mean, so that's the thing. Anything as heinous as what we can assume happened to him and his wife, his situation, whatever, you know, like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. I don't really know how we could think that, but regardless, like, to have a character that I felt very strongly that I didn't like for just Shoto's actions here to really make me want him back in the story and to keep him around now. And like really rooting for Horikoshi to finish writing his redemption in a masterful way. So I'm not like, nah, I'm still not fucking with him, even if I like the applications of their abilities together, which, you know, sometimes you just think shit's tight. Like, hey, you know, if we can get, you know, the ice, you know, application with Endeavor too, you know, by, you know, default, that's going to be tough.
Well, Shoto does this thing here, and you're like, okay, I kind of like am fucking with this Endeavor situation a little bit more. It's because of his redemption arc so far. If he was just a terrible person through and through without any of the redemption building up to this, and then Shoto did what he did here, you'd still be like fuck Endeavor. But like the arc that he's had to, you know, improvement is what fuels this scene. You know,
and the fact that without his redemption so far, you know. Whatever percent, we'll say it's at 35% redemption. Whatever, just making up a number. Whatever. Like, without that much redemption thus far, you would look at Shoto, what Shoto did, and say,
"Why the fuck are you doing that?"
Well, and this is a one-time thing for this terribly fucking devastating situation. He's only going to do this, and he's never going to fucking try to help Endeavor ever again. He's still going to hate Endeavor. He's been coming around to Endeavor, so it's like you could foresee this happening in the future, and them tag teaming, fighting Father, Son, Fire, Kamehameha, or whatever. You know, like, and it would be cool. You know, like I would like it. You know, and obviously, you know, just let's finish with this redemption. Let's make him a good guy.
Hell
somehow.
yeah.
So bottom left of this page, page 10, bottom left, Bakugo. It's rare to see Bakugo looking worried, frustrated, sad almost.
It's also rare to see Bakugo in a situation where he's not one of the frontline most effective and useful people in a scene. Right? You know what I mean? So this is
he's been sidelined.
He's sidelined. It's hurting his morale. This is a very big development moment for Bakugo, kind of like amidst all of this chaos here where he sees his shortcomings and like doesn't have anyone to yell at. You know what I mean? He doesn't have anyone to blame. He doesn't have anyone to say, I'll kill you. It's literally just Bakugo being 4th place right now. You know what I mean? And that is going to do a lot for the future of his character, this situation right now. Even though he's been more than effective in this situation. He's done a lot, but he still feels like I haven't done enough and everyone else around me is doing a lot more. That's very rare to see Bakugo in a situation like that.
Who's in the rubble behind Bakugo?
Gran Torino.
That's Gran Torino.
Yeah, Gran Torino.
Okay. Yeah, that's his arm holding him. Okay, holding him. Okay, yeah. I was really. Oh, and the scarf. Okay, I can see it clearly.
I agree with you. It took me a little bit to grok that. You know what I mean? I had to really look at it and be like, who am I? What am I looking at here? Who am I looking at?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and then like the next panel, so it's like Bakugo, is he looking all the way at Deku, and Deku races right past him? Is that what happens? That's where I was.
Past or away? Like, well, I guess it must be past. But yeah, it's past because in the previous
right
panel,
through him, basically. Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought. Okay.
And then Deku's face on page 11.
Oh my God! Just run! No,
man.
That's Horikoshi's strength, right there.
Yeah, that's Horikoshi's bag right there for sure. Bro.
I mean, and then Rocklock's face right next to it too. Like, I mean, just his close up on his face. Obviously, that's clearly the face of the chapter. But like, when you just start looking at when Horikoshi goes in on them faces, man, like there's a good couple of them in this one. You know, you got 3 or 4 Deku close-ups here. You got a couple, one Shigaraki. You know, like these are all like
such vivid gateways to the mind and emotional state of the characters that are on screen, and it's like.
But like this Deku panel, he's got the super angry eyes. His face, he looks like Shigaraki, honestly. In terms of his rage, he's like dripping. Just like sweat of anger, I guess,
and
or tears.
He's
crying. He's got the full cowl, effect going on. He's got like the Super Saiyan 2 lightning coming off of his cheek over his hair or whatever. It's just, it is so intense, this panel. Like behind him, like
he's got the lightning too.
The N, like the fucking, just like this malice, oh man, he's just so pissed. Like I love this panel.
That's a very good one.
I just have to, real quick, before I forget, big shout out to Yatogami from our Discord, because he literally called like this entire situation, and he tweeted it on Twitter, and all of these messages come from our Discord, but I haven't seen them all together like this. They've been like spread out throughout the weeks, but this is literally what he said. July 10th. I get the feeling Shig is going to kill someone like Gran Torino, and maybe getting wounded himself since his process was ended at 75%. He's not complete, so maybe his body starts malfunctioning, and Giganto Machia grabs him while trampling other people and they bounce. But heroes also have to retreat. Deku is going to learn float right here. He says that on July 10th as well. Then he says, the only way out is Shigaraki's body is going to start malfunctioning. He got broke out of that tank at 75%. I'm pretty sure he was in like a dead state or something because of it, but Exilus jump-started his heart with the electricity, so now he's still alive, but incomplete. Machia is going to come in and swoop him up and trash more people on the way out. That is literally what is happening right now to a T. Yatogami, you fucking killed it.
Yeah.
You're fucking amazing, bro.
Yeah, Yato's a G, man. And
phenomenal.
I just want to point out that's on Dab Day, 7/10 Oil Day. So he was out there, bro. He was on that.
Open your mind.
Open your mind.
But yeah, I had to shout him out before I forgot, because the next page that we have after this Deku's face panel is Shigaraki starting to fall apart, and we start to get understanding that this is because he was awakened too early, and this totally makes sense as the way out of such a desperate situation, because if Shigaraki's just going to be healing all damage, doing all damage, Aizawa's got his fucking eye on him, now he doesn't anymore, his powers are back, yes, absolutely, the only hope is for him to start falling to pieces like this. And it makes perfect sense because it's being built up the entire time. It's not campy. This was what was always going to happen. It's Horikoshi, man.
I don't think it's campy in the slightest. I think this is
surface
beautiful.
Level readers will be like, oh, okay, so now he starts having issues after all of this, and it's like
no.
Yeah.
Like
there's two very, very good reasons in this chapter: 75%, and the same thing with All for One. You know, and One for All.
Yes, but obviously to set up, you have All Might and All for One as the original, nemesis, the not rivals, but even more nemesis, they're completely opposed or whatever. And obviously Deku and Shigaraki are the next generation of that conflict, this perennial conflict. And it makes just so much thematic sense for Shigaraki to deal with what Deku has dealt with this entire time of not being able to control this huge ability he has.
Yes.
Like unlike Yato, I never thought of this, and when this happened, I was just like, this just makes too much sense. I'm just like. This is perfect.
Oh my God, it's literally the exact opposite. Like you get all of these powers given to you and you have so much mastery of them right away. And then after that mastery wears out and you expend yourself too much, now you start seeing detriments of it where Deku was, I got this power, detriments in the front, mastery afterwards. And it's like a beautiful parallel that I never even fucking thought about, dude. That's amazing.
It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
It feels it's so funny though sometimes when you have a story like this where I mean for like weeks I keep saying like, man, I don't know how the fuck this is really gonna make sense. Like Shigaraki seems so OP.
You have been saying that.
Even though it's like we have talked about, okay, it is 75%. We could see something. Who knows? You know, like we didn't have any like firm theories this or that way, but like it just felt like Shigaraki and now Deku, I mean, both of them really seem to be progressing at levels that are really kind of too fast sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's starting to make a lot more sense. It's getting reined in well. Because one of the big gripes that I've always had is that how does Bakugo keep up with Deku? You know, how does Shoto keep up with Deku? And it's like, it's really hard for me to see them doing that. But what Knox was saying here earlier that Bakugo has nobody to blame. He's seeing his shortcomings. He's going to see Deku shining, doing all this shit, and it is going to push him to, I don't, see, again, like, it's going to need some masterful explaining to make me believe that one quirk Bakugo could ever really be on an equal footing to Deku with all of, just all the quirks he's going to get. And just
but Horikoshi's given us so much evidence to like let us know that he's going to handle that properly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
We see it inside of like this chapter even, you know what I mean? It's like, Kohei has such good awareness of his world and the characters involved that like and you want to know what? It's a head scratcher. I'm not gonna front, bro. Like I'm a super big like My Hero Academia advocate where you have complaints. I usually tend to disagree, but like I'm totally with you on like how is Bakugo going to keep up? I totally understand that criticism. I'm actually supporting of it. But like, I think my faith is just at a higher level than yours to the point where I don't bring it up. And it's good that yours is lower to the point where you do bring it up because these are things that need to be talked about. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, if anybody is going to get it done, Kohei is going to make sense of something that we literally have, and we've been doing this for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like we have predicted things and stories multiple times. The complaints that we have that we were worried about have come true even too in other stories. You know what I mean? Like we have been talking about this for so long that like any kind of complaint or any kind of praise that we make has some kind of bearing in like what's actually going to happen. Yeah. And when you see stuff online, like you go, you see stuff on the timeline, you go wherever wherever you get your anime interaction, manga interactions, you'll see, sometimes you'll see a tweet or something that challenges what you believe to be true. And it's like, you start thinking a little deeper on like, like I really like this. And it's like, even if like you like a theory or you like whatever reasoning to something that you didn't think of before, and you still have your own reasoning and you maybe try to mesh the two or whatever, but it's just good stuff to bring up. Like, hey, these are concerns that I see out on the timeline or whatever, and obviously you don't bring up like ones that are just like foolish, but like ones that things can only make as much sense to us as how much sense we can make of it at the time. But like we're open-minded enough to be able to change our minds once new information is introduced. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh man, we don't like My Hero, so nothing that happens will make us like it again. There's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like that with every story. They've just decided in their mind that this shit is mid, and no matter what you say, if you bring a fucking concept to me or if you explain a character or story arc to me in a way that I hadn't considered before, I'm just going to tell you it's not that deep because I didn't fucking think of it already. So now you're making the story more than what it actually is just because I didn't consider that before. Like, we're not those kind of people. So like when we have these theories and we have these gripes with these stories, one fucking chapter can come along and we'll have a completely different review one week than the last week. You know what I mean? And like this situation with fucking Bakugo, if you don't just approach things that way, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, if you have something that you feel like this isn't adding up to me, and then
then it does add up to you. You are still reading the story. You're still consuming it. You know, it's like if you say, okay, I didn't like something, so I quit and it's terrible and I'm never, it's like, okay, well, your opinion is only worth so much, right? Because you quit, you don't really know, where it's like, if you continue on, even if sometimes you're not, you know, sure of the direction of something, you know, like, I don't really know if I want to keep reading this, but like you still do, because of like, because I mean, I could be the first to say, like, I quit reading Hero for some period of time, like 30 chapters, because I was tired of the art that I couldn't tell, and we were reading old scans back then before, like,
that looked terrible.
And made it even worse. So it's like there was a time where it's like I didn't want to read Hero because it's like I couldn't figure out some of the shit that was happening. And then it's like I picked it back up, and like I feel like that was like around like Deku starting to learn more about One for All and stuff, like where he could see like the other not like back during Shinso, like this was like where he actually had, where he was like in Zangetsu world that we always call it, or whatever. Like I remember that, and it's like since then it's like I've been super intrigued with the story, but yet I still had a few, you know, things that didn't make sense to me, but like this chapter right here changed my outlook on a lot of things. Like it really, even though Deku still seems OP, you know, like he's going to be OP, and like Shigaraki seems like they're going to be OP, and like the power scaling balance is a little weird and hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes. But I have a lot of faith now with the direction that we're going. And that Bakugo, like everything that you said is that, but Bakugo has to sit here silently and watch this shit happen and be basically saved now by Deku. You know, it's definitely going to catapult him. You know,
and I love it.
And he's
love every moment.
He's the type too.
He needs it.
He's going to use it the best way that you could use this situation to his advantage and his growth. You know, where like I don't think he needs a morale repair arc like a lot of these other, like, you know, fucking Yaoyorozu and fucking just all the other fucking students. So,
and he even could, but at the same time, it's like his development. Like I feel like the whole time that we've been talking about, like, what is Bakugo going to do to keep up, has been in regard to like training his quirk to match the quirks of everyone else. But like a lot of development can come just from on the psychological side of things. You know what I'm saying? Like your resolve and like how you feel about yourself as a person easily goes into how you strengthen yourself physically. You know what I mean? Like we hear that, like that's real in like our actual reality. You know what I mean? Like mental health scales with physical health in a lot of studies that, you know, scientists have done. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like if Bakugo, like we've been talking about the whole time, like how is Bakugo going to strengthen his quirk in the gym? How is he going to become on par as a hero with everyone else physically? But like if he has a really crushing morale moment that like strengthens his like resolve as a character and as a person, like mentally, that will do a lot for the development of his quirk in relation to that. You know what I mean? So he'll grow a lot as a character off of a moment like this in a way that we'll see in his quirk. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
For sure.
Yeah.
So damn, we keep
still a lot more to go.
We keep going. You know, Deku reinforces that. Like what's happening to Shigaraki is exactly what happened to him back in the day. We get this, you know, flashback to the completion status 75% or whatever. Mirko's still alive.
Mirko is still alive. I love to see that. And what is her dialogue here?
You win this by staying alive, and you will win. It's weird that there was like that.
Well, it's not her saying that. It's whoever's carrying her. But yeah.
So wait, let's see, who's carrying her?
Is it Edgeshot?
I don't think it's Edgeshot. He's too important.
I can't really tell.
It kind of looks like Spinner, kind of. Obviously, it's not Spinner, but like they have like the thing around his neck, kind of thing.
So just like Rando Hero number one.
Maybe it's a Rando Hero.
Yeah, but he says like, "Stay with us, Mirko. You win this by staying alive, and you will win."
And you will win. You gotta emphasize that will.
Cool little aside or whatever. And then Shigaraki is about to kill everyone. By touching the ground and just obliterating the whole city like he did before. And then, like
the Black Whip into the float.
When Black Whip first came out, I was like, really, we're giving this kid multiple quirks. But now when he's using float here, I'm like, I'm so fucking hyped for this. I'm just like, yo.
Yes, and see, like this is what we were talking about when Black Whip first came out on the show, because I'm pretty sure we were covering this when Black Whip came out. Or maybe Black Whip came out before we started covering Weekly Shonen Jump manga, and then we eventually talked about how like weird it felt that he was getting multiple quirks. I don't know, whatever. But we also had a conversation about like, okay, it's super OP that he has all of these quirks, but like it's not like he's just going to be spamming all of these quirks, boom, boom, boom. They all come in different situations that have different needs for things. Black Whip is clearly a very support-ish type quirk. Right. That like we're not going to see in combat all that often. Sure, he used it here as like a snare earlier, I think in last chapter and whatnot, but like it wasn't all that effective. But like we've seen Black Whip more so in regards to saving people, in regards to just like there's going to be quirks that he has that just like works towards making him an all-around good hero and not just in combat, an oppressive force in combat with 7 quirks attacking you at one time. You know what I mean?
None of his quirks are going to be as strong as like Decay, right? None of those other sub quirks are going to be Decay, you know, or whatever Chisaki's was called, you know, like something like that fucking strong. Yeah. You know, like it makes sense to have other sub quirks, I guess we can call it, that just amplify your effectiveness as a hero to also use your big All Might type shit. Because you still expect him to be, you know, an All Might-ish. You know, hero overall. Small Might. You know, even though
Small Might.
But
I wanted to point something out. So page 16, where you know, Deku's first using float, he's got everyone with the Black Whip, you know, pulling him off the ground or whatever. And then the next page, 17, the last page, you see you know, Gran Torino remembering this time back in the day, being with Shimura. And being, oh yeah, it's Shimura's thing. Look at Deku's body position on page 16. It's the exact same body position as Shimura on page 17. And that might be just like how the quirk works or whatever. But like his body position is the same thing. I think that's cool. Oh my
god, that is cool. I didn't even notice that. That's fucking awesome.
And he about to clock Buddy in the jaw.
Oh yeah. Big right hook.
You're talking about when he has Black Whip on 16 is the same as Shimura on 17.
Just
I didn't notice that at all.
Cutely floating by Gran Torino.
It's super
it's like
tight.
the ability is just air is going up in a jet stream up, and so you're like, woo, I'm floating. I'm getting pushed up. I'm getting pushed up.
Like that Willy Wonka scene when they drink the fucking, you know, the root beer or whatever that makes them like float when they burp or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Well, when they burp, they would go down, right?
When they burp, they go down. Yeah.
So this is very huge. I mean, first, I want to gush a little bit about Gran Torino. Like it felt so good to have him with joy happily up looking at Deku.
Yeah, that's a great Shimura's quirk.
Like it was great, but Deku now showing that he has float, and they've already seen Black Whip, and they've seen his superpower. So everybody here knows he's got 3 quirks, basically. And even though Black Whip was kind of explained away as, oh, this is just like a quirk mutation of my original power quirk, which didn't make any sense, but like everybody bought it for some reason. That was something that was weird to me. But
I never even thought about that.
But now, like, what is he going to say now? It's like, no, you're definitely fucking got multiple quirks, and you people now know the deal. Like,
you're like, you're exactly a Nomu.
Yeah, something's wrong. Something's up here. You know,
Shigeru Machi is your father.
Oh my god.
Deku got some splaining to do.
Yeah, how do they not just assume he's a Nomu though? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is broadcasted everywhere. The word of like what the Nomus are is going to get out to everyone, and they're going to be like, okay, the only time you can have this many quirks is if you're a Nomu. This kid is using this many quirks. What's going on with this kid? You know what I mean? I could totally see society being like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? And like you could see a fucking like societal divide in that regard as to like how they feel about Deku. That would be crazy.
Well, and so you're talking society wise where that, I mean, you can always assume
or even inside of the heroes
in control.
Too. Yeah,
that's the thing. That's what I'm saying, because like within, you know, assuming the government has control of the situation, could tell the public whatever they want and say, oh, you know, whatever, make up some other bullshit that they buy. But the heroes ain't gonna buy the shit, and people are gonna want to know what's going on. And like, I mean, who knows? Maybe the government, this hero association government shit that I'm not too fond of, that I hope we get more on eventually and get that dived into here. But like, what if they start looking at Deku like, okay, there's 3 quirks here. Like, okay, so why? And they find out, okay, you have one for all, but
they don't know what one for all is.
But they're like, Well, but that's the thing. Like, it would all come out. Like, he would have to, like, maybe explain it all. All Might's having to explain what's happening. And then they're like, well, fuck that. Fuck Deku. He didn't deserve one for all to begin with. He had no quirk. Like, why didn't we give it to Mirio we were supposed to? Like, maybe the heroes in the, establishment, whatever, are going to come at Deku in that way. And that adds another element of, just chaos to everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So, yeah, that'd be cool.
The secrecy aspect of One for All is definitely much more complicated and hand wavy and a little more hard to understand now that there's multiple quirks. When it was just strength, you could explain that one away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a little more. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll work out fine, but it's like I definitely don't see right now how it can be kept under wraps anymore.
I know that Kohei is. If we're aware of this, Kohei is aware of this.
Yeah.
Sure. And so, like, it really stands. I believe that after this arc, or maybe at the end, not at the end, it would be after this arc, we need to go in depth with how and not we as in the reader needs to know, however it's done. Maybe it's through Dr. Eggman or whatever, though. But, like, how Shoto has 2 quirks, how, multiple quirks are being given. We already know, like, there's, like, genetic things that are happening, like, by genetically modifying humans or whatever. But you have All for One and One for All, which are standalone, obviously pinnacle of both sides of this, which, made sense that, makes enough sense that they could get this and just them. But now, like with Shoto, Shoto has always been a monkey wrench in this whole situation for me. And it's like, we need to finally get all this exposition on how these quirks really work, like scientifically, which I'm sure we can, and especially if you, throw Eggman in prison and, whip him until he tells us what's going on. And, whatever we got, black whip him, sling him around the jail cell, bashing his head on the walls.
Oh my god!
Whatever we got to do to get this man to talk, but we need to get this info. Like,
for sure.
Yes,
ready for it.
Yeah.
Super ready. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, with that, I believe we can go ahead and move right into chapter 989 of One Piece.
Vince McMahon.
I can't imagine losing. And we got this nice little, you know what I'm saying? I like this cover because, while I am getting sick of this story, I like the little locket he showed that had a picture.
Yeah, as he's getting kicked the fuck out the room.
And Lola and Chiffon. That is
Big
him
Mom
getting kicked out of the room now that you said that.
Yeah,
wow,
Big Mom's kicking him clean the fuck
Big
out.
Mom, and you can see Prometheus in the back. He's chilling.
Yeah, Big Mom booted him dead in the chest, gave him the police boot. Clean. Gave him
the Charlie Murphy boot to Rick James.
You taking karate with them kids, man?
All right. Well, getting into the chapter here, we got Big Mom knocked down, and all the Straw Hats kind of having a little banter here. Jinbei and Robin getting ready to do some shit.
Yes.
And I liked on the first page.
Yeah.
People who I guess I should say on the third page technically of this double page spread 2 and 3. A lot of people have been going back and forth, whether Yamato is really like identified as a man.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whether it's just a gag, whatever, what have you.
Yet more Luffy pronoun action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solidifies it.
Yeah.
Calls Yamato, I'm saying, don't worry, Shinobu. He's an ally.
Yeah.
Love it.
You can trust him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And see, like, I've been talking about this. Like,
I've been talking about
this with like a lot of
people.
Him
calling him Yamao is the big key.
Yeah.
That means.
Yeah. Means what?
Wow.
Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a good bit, but yeah.
Okay, so like whatever. So going into like the Yamato thing, right? So like I've been talking with a lot of people about this, and like, yes, there is humor associated with Yamato's want to be Odin. That is completely separate from Yamato's identification as male. You know what I mean? Like, you can identify as male, and then like all the humor can come from like, but I want to be Odin. Like, I look up to Odin. Like, I'm Odin. Like, you're my son, Momonosuke. Like, that's funny. Oh my God, what the fuck? You're not my dad. You know what I mean? Like, that's the joke. Like, it has nothing to do with Yamato's like gender identification. That is literally just the aspiring to be Odin joke. You know what I mean? That they're playing on that. But like, Yamato's identification is not a gag in the story. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's so many characters now have just doubled down on this. Like Kaido called him my son, and Luffy has said Luffy was confused at first. Like, wait, you said son, right? Like, oh, and now immediately him, he, you know. So it's like it's just so obvious. Like,
yeah. Definitely, and it's not.
But this joke, but
Oda's
the
been
Odin
progressive the whole time. You know, the story. So
yeah.
Now the Odin joke here is absolutely fucking hilarious, right? Like, Momonosuke, I'm Odin. I will protect you, and they're just like, what are you fucking? Are you out of your fucking mind?
It's hilarious, and I mean, it's fairly obvious, but. I want to talk about like just Luffy's overall combat sense has really gone up. Honestly, feels like since he put the captain's jacket on, he's acting like a captain, right?
This
like
is where we see his development. You know what I mean? Like,
let's see what he's done. He's let the Scabbards have their fight first. Like, let them do their thing. Like, this is them. Even though I know I'm coming in and really finishing the job, but let them get their shit off before I intrude on their fight. And
pre-time skip Luffy would have been like, fuck that. I'm swinging on everybody. I don't give a fuck. Where's the strongest dude at? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it would have been. Yeah.
He has Yamato protect Momo. Like, it's like, hey. He's thinking already like, hey, hold Momo down. Obviously, you're going to do that because you're Odin. And so, like, you definitely are going to do this. So, like, and he tries to, just fast track, shoot his way all up to the top to go fight. Obviously, like, Zoro jumped on and then, Queen stops him or whatever. But more so than that, they see all the flyers come in and they, like, really reassess the situation. Or Luffy definitely does, like, okay, I can't just get up there, right? So... I'm going to stop what I'm doing instead of being crazy Luffy and just Gomu no storm, fight my way all the way up the top or whatever. He stops, groups up with the team.
Exactly.
That's just not things that Luffy has done in the past. And it really seems like since he put that captain's jacket on, he's captaining.
And people say that Luffy has no development. That's cap because you see just because his development isn't spoon-fed to you in ways that normal shonen protagonist development is. How long have you been reading One Piece? Do you understand that Oda specifically takes different storytelling paths outside of the orthodox norm of shonen storytelling? How long have you been here? Did you read the wiki? Didn't catch up to Wano? Like, that's what I've been fucking saying for like weeks and weeks, is that I feel like people are doing that so that they can have stake in current One Piece conversation because they want to fit in with what everyone is talking about in the timeline, and they want to have complaints that they see everyone else making, and it makes sense to them because they don't fucking know the story of One Piece. They don't understand this character. Luffy's development shows in ways that are unorthodox, and it's very often that we see his development in very subtle ways but are also very profound if you look beneath the surface. Combat IQ that Kiko is talking about is a prime example of this. We are seeing Luffy do so many things that you will never find pre-time skip Luffy doing, or even Fishman Island Luffy doing. You know what I mean?
How Luffy handled Ace with Tama was so big, so different from his character. Like he resolvely said, "No, Ace is dead, and that's that. Like, sorry, that's just the facts, and that's how it is." And he didn't cry. Those are the facts.
The Sinbad gift. Those are the facts.
Those are the facts, man. And that's what it was, though. Like, honestly, and he didn't, like, dwell and gripe on it, or whatever. And it was good for his character to, show that obviously he had the huge painful, of him crying and smashing the ground, whatever after Ace died. So like, it's you get a lot of that stuff, like you've seen things too. Like, I mean, even like I could think back to like Vivi, like when he punched Vivi, and obviously he that's a pre-time skip Luffy move where I don't think he would punch somebody in that situation now, I'm pretty sure he would definitely try to calmly talk to him a lot different. If you can get through to him, maybe he
might grab him by the collar and shake him. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey. Yeah. He's not just gonna jaw a girl like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
like,
was wild.
Yeah.
Right. So going into like Big Mom is getting up from getting hit in the face with Frankie's motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
And I do like this dialogue of, oh, we meet again, Soul King. Like, I have to say, I have to do the compliment here. You got a lot of fascinating and rare creatures in your crew. I like that. Like, I just like that generally because she obviously would like that.
Yes,
definitely.
I do. So is Carrot saying, I'm fascinating too and tough? Top of page. That's Carrot, right?
Top of page what?
I think so too.
5.
Top of page 5.
And like, I actually kind of find it interesting that they're talking about the crew, and Carrot kind of inserts herself into the situation. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now, but what I really want to talk about is Nami's like, we got to get out of here, Frankie. This is an emperor we're talking about, and Frankie's like, run from an emperor? Are you even trying? Do you want to make our captain the king of the pirates or not?
Yes.
And I'm like, yo, Frankie.
Frankie stands are feasting right now.
And I've always been a Frankie stan, and I've always been so mad with how fucking Oda changed his character design. I just love pre-time skip Frankie so much, and it's like I really need these moments back for Frankie because this is the type of shit pre-time skip Frankie would have done. Like hell no, fuck that. Like no,
and pre-time or post-time skip Frankie has had one other like really big moment, obviously, in his like altercation with Senior Pink. That was a really big moment for his character, even though that fight was just a bunch of back-to-back suplexes. But like, still, the dialogue exchange in that shit was fucking amazing for his character.
It was.
But yes, his character design is. I don't think there. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how Eagle feels, but I feel like we can all say that we preferred the pre-time skip design.
I think his post-time is cool.
His post-time, I fuck with his post-time skip design. I just heavily prefer his pre-time skip design.
Nothing tighter ever in One Piece than taking the glove off. Bro, no. The fucking, what is it, Iron Hammer or whatever? Bro, that's tight. Like, I still, to this day, I still think my favorite fight is Frankie versus Fukuro. Like, it just, I just love that fight so much, and it just,
and as much as
flabby punches and pull it, like
as much as we miss pre-time skip Frankie's design, post-time skip Frankie's change makes so much sense for his character because how else was he going to keep up as just pre-time skip Frankie? You know what I mean? Like he couldn't possibly, like, on a combative level, on a physical level, keep up with all of the progression everyone else was making. He has to make upgrades like this. That's his character. He's a cyborg. He has to continually build on himself in order to progress. He doesn't get shown in power-ups like Zoro, Luffy, Sanji. You know, like everyone else.
He upgrades himself manually.
Yeah, he upgrades himself manually. So if we were always going to see something like this, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
I just didn't want Barrel Man, like with tiny legs. I just wanted I wanted a more fucking, I wanted General Frankie to be him the whole time. And maybe not that tall, but just like, well, he's got tiny legs too. I just wanted like a proportionate body. And I know like One Piece don't really do that. You got Bartholomew Kuma and Gecko Moria, tiny ass legs.
Oh yeah, you got plenty Disney character designs where motherfuckers look like Pete from Goofy Movie, like all over the fucking place in this fucking story.
For sure.
Going back, while we're back on the real quick though, while we're back towards the beginning of the chapter with this Big Mom situation, I just want to throw this out here. There's a lot of people that are talking about how like comedic Big Mom's character has been. Where's her threat level gone? She doesn't really feel like a Yonko anymore, and especially in this showing of like the Straw Hats like going crazy. And it's like I am so much more appreciative of the Straw Hat teamwork and the Straw Hat like feats and moments that we're getting inside of them than I care about how less threatening Big Mom seems when 1, she's not even taking any damage, 2, she's not even serious, 3, these characters have the element of surprise on their side, and it's a teamwork moment, not a Big Mom sucks moment. You know what I'm saying? They have not done any damage to her. They caught her off guard. She wasn't expecting the level of teamwork that they're showing right now. She could be drunk. They were all just turning up turning the fuck up before this raid started. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, there are so many factors involved in why Big Mom is being handled the way that she is in this surprise attack. That it's not just Big Mom sucks, she's not a Yonko. No. What the fuck happened to the fucking scary monster that we've been built up for X amount of chapters leading up to this? It's like they caught her off guard. Boom, she's scared. Boom, one attack after another, surprise attack after another, keeping that momentum. You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense physically because the fucking bike hits her. Oh my god, a bike just hit me. I'm falling over already from the bike. Jinbei, shoulder throw. Fishman judo.
Before that, she swung with Napoleon.
Yeah. That's right. So the bike knocks her over. She lands on her back. She gets back up. She goes to attack with Napoleon, and Jinbei grabs her like, nope, where are you going? Boom, shoulder throws her. So she's already off balance. And
Fishman judo,
and that leads into that momentum leads into Robin continuing the momentum in the rolling. Like it's a perfectly teamwork. Established attack.
Ability. I was just saying, she's done this. This isn't a new ability neither. Skypea. Rolled the big priest buddy down and smacked him into the wall or whatever. But two things I really want to say about this, like about this Big Mom situation. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like Big Mom, Oda is purposely shuffling Big Mom around the battlefield because Big Mom will not lose here. Kaido will lose and Big Mom will not. Big Mom has a huge fucking plot thread with Elbaf. Yeah. There's no way in hell Big Mom loses right now and dies or gets dethroned in any way. The only thing that is dethroning her really is Marco is telling Pero Sparrow right now all the shit that's really happening. Blackbeard is going to Totland to steal their fucking their road poneglyph right now. And so Marco, being the one who's kept track of Blackbeard this whole time, that's basically his job, since Whitebeard pirates have been split up, dispersed, whatever. So he's definitely keeping an eye on fucking on Blackbeard, and he might. I don't know. I'm very sure that this is actually it hasn't been stated anywhere in the story, but it just makes sense that Marco is like, hey, you are obviously the brains of the family, kind of, and the guy that I need to talk to, the only person that's going to even have a chance to really comprehend this whole big giant world situation, which is more than just Blackbeard invading Totland to go steal the road poneglyph, because we got to know Blackbeard's the only one that doesn't have one, really. Like has he does not have any way into Laugh-Tale right now. So he has to make a big move, which is clearly the easiest move to make right now, with Big Mom missing from the island. So Big Mom is going to be shuffled around the battlefield. She might get a big showing, but there's no way that anything that happens is going to be decisive for her. Right. Elbaf definitely still has to happen. She definitely has to be an integral part in that arc where there can be another warlike thing on Elbaf with Big Mom, now, kind of like this situation where, Big Mom pirates start pulling out. Like, where are they? We haven't even really seen
back-to-back wars is not outside of the realm of possibility for One Piece at this stage in the game. So
exactly.
Definitely. So that's just too big of a plot thread that has to be explored, that there's no just way in hell that Big Mom's gonna get anything. And she's not any less threatening to me. Obviously she's used as a joke, but we know at the end of the day, if she wants birthday cake, she's wilding. And she'll kill your whole fucking
bro, when
country
she
over
actually
birthday cake,
turns the fuck up, we're going to be brutally reminded of her place in the bigger picture here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
She will definitely humble anybody that thought they had a chance against her on this battlefield currently.
And one little last thing I want to say about too is that Big Mom is not a tactical fighting genius. She doesn't have any kind of martial arts of any kind. She is, her whole fucking power is based to OPS fruit. And her OPS durability and just strength, and she's just a big bulldozer cannon. She's not going to
all the tactics are left to her kids.
She don't have tactics. Her tactic is just crush the fuck out of you and eat you or whatever. She's not going to be tactful here. I just people are wanting way too much out of things that have clearly been this has already been laid out for a character. Sorry, it's gimmicky, but this is One Piece. One Piece is technically a comedy, man.
Holy shit!
And so another thing I want to bring up in terms of Big Mom, and that this is One Piece, is that you don't need a fight in order for a character to be hugely interesting. You know what I mean? Like, so we will get a fight with Big Mom, obviously, but Big Mom in this chapter gave us some interesting information. These numbers are from Punk Hazard, and they are a failed attempt at reviving the ancient giants like Ors.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
that's
don't you
massive.
want that shit? Like,
yeah,
oh my
that's
God,
massive. That's massive.
That's massive.
Yeah.
That's massive.
So
and that's
huge.
and that is like Big Mom would know that because Big Mom wanted Caesar to make giants. You know what I mean? So like she would obviously know that. If she wasn't here, you're not going to get that plot information. So like. Enjoy. Like, this is what One Piece gives you.
That so many fucking people that talk about One Piece online only read these fucking chapters, and all they see with all of this amazing lore, all of this amazing dialogue, all of this amazing foreshadowing, plot threads being created, plot threads being tied up, all of this shit going on around them, and all they see is feats for characters. Like that's literally all they see when they read this shit. Oh, Zoro did this, Sanji did this, Luffy did this, Big Mom did that. That's literally all they see.
Are hated in the One Piece
community.
Like
that's literally just all you fucking see. And it's like, bro, like when did this happen to you? Like you had to have been reading One Piece up until this point and falling in love with it for so many reasons far removed from why you're reading it now. Like that's what Twitter's done to you. Like look at yourself right now. Like what would you do if you sat down with Oda right now and talked about this story with the fucking creator?
Dude, can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Oda, who's stronger, Zoro or Marco?
Yeah, exactly.
Zoro or King?
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine wasting 5 minutes with Oda to ask such a dumbass question?
Yes.
Who cares who's stronger?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you rather know about like Joy Boy or the Void Century or Tequila Wolf or like,
Emu?
I gotta go back to the timeline and let motherfuckers know Oda told me that Sanji's stronger than Zoro. Like, that's what's on your fucking mind. Like, you're a fucking worm, kid.
What a waste.
Yeah, definitely.
Eagle, I really want your thoughts on this chapter. I saw your reaction, but I want your thoughts on the chapter.
Yeah, we're getting a little out of hand.
Yeah.
Extra. We're extra.
Yeah.
He goes like, I'm through with you,
as he's thinking, bro. I gotta say another thing about Jinbei.
No, go ahead.
Yo.
Oh, I was gonna say like,
go ahead.
Fucking when Big Mom is like, Jinbei, fuck you for destroying my fleet. I'm going to kill you. And Jinbei says, I welcome the attempt. Cold.
Jinbei is cold.
So we have confirmation here. We have confirmation here that he wiped the whole fleet before he came back. He didn't just escape.
Yeah.
He beat their asses and then left.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's it.
Or
that's
at least
That's
destroyed all the ships.
Well, sure. Yeah. But I mean, like that's beating their ass if you're on the water. Like you whooped them.
Well, they could. The ships may or may not have had people in them or whatever. So like, it could have been a harbor of ships. He just destroyed all of them. Or it could have been a bunch of fodder piloting them.
No.
He just blows them all up.
I'm pretty sure these were all the ships that were chasing him at the end of the arc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like fodder characters.
Well,
no, because Daifuku was on a ship. Fucking all of them were on ships. You know what I'm saying?
Just about all of them. So we gotta have. Obviously, Big Mom's family's vast. They're not all devil fruit users. So, there's got to be water people in there that saved her. Obviously, Praline was, but like, she ain't really with the, she's Big Mom's daughter, but she's like, no, I'm married to Aladdin. That's that. Like, fuck her, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So like, there's definitely somebody saving people in the water in Big Mom's crew because, I mean, shit, King just kicked the ship over fucking whatever 30 chapters ago into the water, and they're all back. So like, somebody saving people in Big Mom's crew. But yes, I really think he basically, like, it made me kind of flashback to think about, I don't remember which one it was, maybe Karubi, but the first Fishman arc where he went to the underground and underwater and like pushed a big giant fucking rock or basically moved like a tectonic plate underwater, and it created a giant fucking
that was Kurobi, wasn't it?
I think it was. It sucked all the Marines in. Like I just kind of thought of something like that. Like, and maybe he didn't have to do that. He can just do like shoulder whirlpool throw, whatever. But just create a giant whirlpool, kill a bunch of ships, and like run away, which is fine. He didn't like outright 1v 50 Big Mom's family
on the surface of the water. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, for sure. Eagle, though, go in.
You gotta love how Usopp is like knocked the fuck out here, and then as soon as Frankie says, stocking time. Wakes the fuck
huh?
Shiny eyes.
Oh shit! But then they're like high key disappointed that only he can pilot the bitch. You know?
Yeah.
They both got to get up out of there. Frankie's like, yo, I don't know what you thought this was, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
And then I love the interaction between, you know, I don't know, Queen and Luffy and Zoro, where they're showing him no respect. You know, they're just ignoring him.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, I'm headed up to the top. Da, 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 da. And as he's like, Rocket, fucking Queen's like, Mate, you motherfucker. And then he just snatches his ass out of the fucking air like, bitch, y'all ain't going nowhere. I don't know what the fuck you thought this was.
Yeah, I'm still a Yonko commander now. You don't just rocket past
me.
That's
good for Queen's. Yeah, that's good for Queen's character. Like, if he would have just got like bamboozled, like right in his face, I'd be like, what is, this guy's? He's the worst. I hate
comedy.
Like, he didn't do shit.
Yeah, but
yeah, man. Then we get the. Then we go into the, I don't know, the good moment with Hyogoro, where, you know what I'm saying? He's like, man, we're surrounded by enemies right now, but I can't imagine losing, dog.
Yeah, dude, that was like, fuck yeah.
Is that a death flag for Hyogoro?
Hell no.
That Straw Hat effect. No, that's that Straw Hat effect. That's that.
Could be, though.
You don't think people are dying here today?
Oh,
like,
I mean,
dying
like,
people in this war? Like, named people?
Yeah. And
you'd
want to say Hyogoro because he's old and he's had his time.
That's the safe one. Yeah, exactly.
I guess my opinion on it is that yes, while obviously I do imagine that someone could die this arc, I feel what Hyogoro's feeling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh,
I can't imagine losing.
I can't imagine.
Like, I think we've already gotten a significant death on both sides of this conflict. So I don't know if we're gonna get another one outside of like maybe Kaido if they actually do end up killing him. But like.
Yeah, plus we don't know who else could pull up.
That was like really impactful.
Yeah.
And like especially in the anime episode, man, that bitch.
Was it crazy?
I
haven't seen it.
The most recent anime episode is the Yasue shit.
Is it? Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah,
dude. And then we also had the Orochi moment, which was that shit.
Yeah, but where's
I
his
feel like
body?
I feel like Orochi's still not done. I feel like I feel like he was killed there to like remove him from this chaotic situation so you don't have that Orochi element on top of it, because obviously that would be a very, let's take away from the action to like see Orochi sneaking around, and like that's just probably something Oda like didn't want in the moment right now, and then he's saving his character.
Like, slither out of the shadows.
Like, I think that I think Orochi's character is definitely coming back after we get a bunch of fan service combat in action. You know what I mean? I feel like the Orochi element would like take away from that, because obviously his character is all like, oh, look over here while I do something over here, and I just don't want that like interruption.
So there's a couple things about that though. Well, we haven't seen his body. We never saw his body.
The anime doing a very good job on casting antagonist voice actors.
Sure.
Because Orochi is one of the characters in One Piece that you want to fucking punch.
The voice acting in One Piece has never been an issue. It's always been top tier. Like, it's just the pacing.
But I'm just saying, for villains, like, they always make a really good point to like make them sound annoying. Which is fun,
for sure.
You know, you really want
if they're meant to be annoying, they sound
meant to be
Orochi. Top tier in that aspect. Like, you really want to jaw this one.
And if I'm keeping it a buck, he did not have a satisfying enough death. If that's what it was, just a fucking quick beheading.
Here's the
and it's over.
Yamata no Orochi devil fruit, which is basically turn into a snake fucking skin of your snake and just but no, like just shed your hide and leave. Like that's common within the lore of that character of that beast. I mean, Orochimaru only did it like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
We were kind of asking questions to each other about the exact lore, because I think we were confusing it with like Hydra lore at first, where you do chop a head off.
I called it a Hydra, but like at the same time,
I don't think we were ever confused on what it was. Like we know what Yamato.
No, I'm saying like the lore, was there lore that the heads would grow back when Susanoo was fighting it, or was it like you cut a head off and now that head's cut off?
Yeah, it's not so much does the head grow back. It's like, does cutting off one head kill the entire beast? Yeah. So like,
but it would also probably be considered the main head if he was still in human form. Maybe
that's true.
Doesn't apply.
Right. That's where I'm like, I mean, if he's not in the zone form and you cut off his head, isn't that 100% of his heads got cut off? You know what I mean? Like, so I could definitely see Orochi being dead, though I would obviously grant you that you can make it work.
It is very One Piece if he's still alive.
Ink clone too.
Yep. Yeah.
There's definitely angles there.
Damn.
Yeah. We talked about that already.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. We definitely. But I want to go back even kind of back to the beginning, a little bit closer to the beginning. So when Frankie is powering up Radical Beam to shoot Big Mom dead in her shit, Big Mom grabs a homie and shields herself.
Yeah.
Like she's getting ready to block. She's getting ready to block Radical Beam. So she knows Radical Beam will damage her.
Yeah.
Otherwise she wouldn't block it. Well, let me tell you why she knows Radical Beam will damage her, because it's Vegapunk.
Which got it from Kizaru.
Is Kizaru, but but it's Vegapunk's technology that allows him to do it, right? Like she knows that being, and I won't say so damage. Like, what does damage really mean? Like, does it take 1% of her HP if she gets hit with that? Like, is that it? Yeah, like sure, like that's technically damaging, and I'm not saying it's like
she
going
knows
to
it'll
fatally
get
damage
through
her.
that defense. Yes. That means that she doesn't feel pain probably when like regular attacks hit her. She doesn't like take any kind of like actual damage that like is worth writing home about. But like if there's going to be an attack that she knows is going to cause her discomfort in a serious way, might as well try to block it. Yeah.
At the very based least, on psyche too. Like if her psyche wavers, her durability goes down. So like if she's getting hit by anything that damages her, it could piss her off and like further make her more vulnerable, less durable.
Yes.
At the very least, I think this could be her being strategic enough as the experience level of a Yonko to be like, whoa, this dude is doing something clearly, maybe I don't understand it. Maybe it looks powerful. I'm going to get a chump blocker here to not take any damage. Like, it's experience.
I think that's unlikely with Pacifistas running around shooting everybody. No, they filmed Pacifista shooting everybody with those fucking lasers at fucking Marineford. Like, Big Mom definitely knows those lasers. Like, I just, if she doesn't, sure, she's like I've already said in this segment that she doesn't have much tact, but like it's just for her to know, oh, these are fucking Or's failures from fucking Vegapunk or from Caesar in Punk Hazard.
Yeah,
it's
she's
like
got info.
She has info. Like, and
actually, she asked for them. Like, of course she would know about the giants. But not only asked
that,
for them to be made.
Sure.
Her whole strength though is her whole strength is information. No, think about her information network in Tato Land. She has the fucking Den Mushi fucking tracking devices in the water.
Yeah.
She says, and that's why she's gaining political power from every fucking walk of life in every corner that she possibly can. Her whole goal, her whole thing is information. I don't take her as a stupid character. I just say she doesn't have fighting skills like a martial artist, so she never had to. She doesn't have to. She's big fucking, wrecking ball that is uninjurable basically, highest durability. So she doesn't need fighting techniques. So, but no, it's definitely been stated that her information network is the best in the world, aside from probably the world government, of course. Like,
but I don't know if she would like know the exact capabilities of this beam. Like, I wouldn't doubt she knows. Like, okay, Vegapunk has made these pacifistas that shoot these beams that have been developed using Kizaru's fruit. But who knows if she even knows the capabilities of Kizaru's fruit, the light beams,
she's fought Kizaru.
I don't think she has fought Kizaru. She's never left Totland.
That's not true. She used to be in the Rocks Pirates. What the hell do you mean? She's never left Totland. She's fucking 7 years old.
Aside from that, but
no, she's less. She just fucking
wasn't even an admiral then.
She's formed Totland in the last 30 years for 40 years of her pirating career, or maybe 20, 30 years of her pirating career.
And nobody's fucking with her.
She's definitely fought admirals. I'll promise you that.
Yeah,
but when she was fighting admirals, Kizaru was like fucking 15.
No, because young Sakazuki is in the Robin flashback 25 years ago or whatever it is. 20 in young Sakazuki.
Yeah, and he's young 25 years ago.
And he's a vice admiral then. He's a vice admiral.
Shit was happening back then.
Yeah, sure. But
Kizaru's not like exponentially older than Akainu.
Right, but like there's so there's
I would say he's 10 years older.
If Kizaru, if Akainu is young, and not an admiral 25 years ago, Kizaru's definitely not an admiral 25 years ago.
That doesn't mean that just because he's not an admiral, that doesn't mean that Big Mom's never fought him. Because there's only like 3 admirals at a time. So if you're going to send 3 admirals, like you're probably going to send a couple vice admirals too. So like Kizaru and Sakazuki could definitely be present at these rocks battles, even if they're not admirals at the time.
Yeah,
I think the main sticking point that is happening here is that Kiko is saying, Big Mom thinks that the Frankie Radical Beam could damage her. And Eagle, you're saying, no, it doesn't necessarily damage her. And I think you both have very good points.
I think it's the unfamiliarity of it.
At the very least, she's cautious.
Oh shit, that looks like some shit. You know.
At the very least, she's cautious. At the very most, she knows what she's looking at. She does say, huh. But of course, you could say, huh, how does a random pirate on the Straw Hat crew have a laser beam?
Yeah.
She, regardless, it does take a homie to chump block. Yeah. So definitely, like, she's at least willing to accept the fact that it might piss her off to get hit by this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it would hint more to the fact that she knew something more deeply about it if she would have said something like, huh? That's the same as... Or like something like that.
Sure,
but she doesn't have to say something like that in order for there to be confirmation. Like sure, that's confirmation, but like just because she didn't say something like that doesn't mean that it's impossible that that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if Kizaru is too young to be a formidable opponent fighting Big Mom at the Rocks pirate situation back when he was a vice admiral, does not mean that she didn't come in contact with his devil fruit
and see what's good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what I was saying. Like, she could know about it, but she might not know the exact capability of it and whether or not it could actually damage her.
All right, I think we are good with this. This
I agree too.
Line of question. Anyone have anything besides this sick double spread at the end of the chapter?
I don't think so, bro. Because this fucking shit is crazy.
Full crew spread
since Fishman Island.
Yeah,
I think we got to call it the Monster Quartet now with Jinbei here.
Yeah.
Or you just call it the Monster Trio with Luffy, Zoro, and Jinbei.
But like Sanji's still in this.
I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you.
I like Sanji the least. But I'm saying like those four are clearly in the front.
Yeah.
And
but Jinbei's in front of Sanji.
Yes. And Luffy's in front of Jinbei, and I don't know. Yeah.
So
I'm not. You're trying to bait me.
I'm sorry. I'm done.
Well, and I do still got a couple of things to say here.
Yeah.
So one thing I forgot to say when I was talking about why we know Big Mom is not a joke, and she's going to be in the future Elbaf arc. Luffy has now. It's going to be Totland. Well, so. Back all the way in Fishman Island when they first have the beef, he says, "I'm going to kick your ass all over the New World," and he has now done something at Totland, doing something he probably will do, whatever. Even if it's not him, himself, if one of his crew members, like they did now, like she's taking subtle L's, not real
she's
L's,
taking
but
subtle L's,
from Luffy now in the second, territory, going to be a third territory once we go to Elbaf. So like when Luffy says things like that, when Luffy says things that emphatically and that, confidently,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. So he is kicking her ass all over the New World. Like that's wow. I wanted to add that. But so no, bigger than that though. So in both scenes with Luffy trying to pursue Kaido, Zoro both times is like, I'm going with, take me with, right?
Yeah.
Basically. The way this is kind of laying out, it just really feels like it is going to be a 2v1 Luffy and Zoro versus Kaido where fucking Sanji can fight King and Jinbei can fight Queen. Like, Sanji can fight air battles against another fire type, two fire types fighting in the sky. And, Jinbei always fights the hulking fellow. Remember, like, Gecko Moria's like, damn, you're fast as hell. You're moving pretty good for a hulking fellow. He's like,
I don't want to hear that from you.
You calling me a hulking fellow? Hit him with the and it's like he just seems to be now punching, Big Mama Vagabond Drill, now throwing her. Like he takes care of now the big bulky. That's now his spot. Yeah. So like it just really really feels like. Tell me that's not. I don't know.
It makes
to me,
sense
that feels
to
like
me.
the best. That's just the most hype too. Like Luffy and Zoro, only time ever a true like captain, first mate, 2v1 fighting a something bigger than them.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
we got a
they both
homage
have
to this
now-
when fucking Zoro scraped Hody Jones underwater. He fought the big bad of the arc and beat him himself, even though Hody Jones was like was never meant to be like a real threat to like them. You know what I mean? Like, and Zoro beat like someone who was really weak anyway, but that's still a very clear like, okay, Zoro's ready to fight main bad guys too, you know, back in Fishman Island. So like now it's a real serious situation, and he didn't even try back then.
And
you know what I mean?
Do you set up Ryuo and to have Luffy and Zoro to both have it without them both using it, right?
Yeah,
like it's I mean, and obviously he can use Ryuo if he was fighting King. But the joke is that he would fight Queen because Queen has 2 swords. You know, but obviously that's not that's the thing. Like, who has a sword now is out the window, because like King has a sword, Queen has a sword, the Queen has multiple swords, you know, Jack has
Queen's
swords.
sword is more like the flintlock pistol that's on
No, he has two he has 2 sabers on his side. Two sabers.
Yeah, I know, but like he's never used them up until now.
He's never used it. I mean, nobody's used anything. You know, it's so hard to say.
King's
like,
used his sword multiple times.
No, King kicked just the kick. That's the only thing he really done is kick fucking their ship off the side. I don't think he's ever used the sword.
Pulled his sword out and then handed it to Kaido to kill Orochi. And then also, after he killed Orochi, when the scabbards came in to attack, he pulled his sword out in defense, and then fucking Izo shot it out of his hand. So like he's ready with the sword on the ready, like usually. He's more of a swordsman than Queen, that's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that that's for sure. I would say that that has been shown thus far in this small amount of time. But the other thing I would also say is, does it ever make sense for Zoro to fight a flying fucking devil fruit user? No, it doesn't make any sense. Is he going to sit on the ground and Sanju Rock pound ho up in the sky the whole time? Like, you know, or whatever, 1080 pound, you know, whatever it is now.
I will certainly agree with you that Sanji versus King makes a lot of sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. Everyone,
both fire users.
Sure. But there are so many characters that you left out of that, you know, synopsis of the battle. The Toby Roppo, the CP Aegis Zero. You have Big Mom. Who's fighting Big Mom, right? So
I already explained that Big Mom's about to pull out after Peril Sparrow convinces her that their land is under attack by Blackbeard.
Sure.
Right.
And who says CP0 Aegis does anything? They're in the shadows. They probably will not actually fight. Toby Roppo was just mentioned in this chapter that Hyogoro and their people are about to at least go to try to slow them down.
Right.
And there is still other Straw Hats. Like there is other characters at play, but like, I mean, it just who else is fighting these people, right? Like,
right. I guess all I'm saying is that I think every week, as obviously the thing to think about is going to be, you know, who's going to fight who. And every single week, I'm going to keep saying, you don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah,
nobody can say, it makes a lot of sense that Zoro's going to help Luffy and beat Kaido. I don't know. I think Zoro, what I got from this chapter was Sanji King, Zoro Queen. And Luffy by himself to Kaido, because he just said, I'm going to go kick Kaido's ass. You all back me up.
Yeah.
But that's just so weird for Zoro to fight the number 3 and Sanji to fight the number 2. You know, like weird. It's just like thematically never happened, and it just seems very unlikely.
Never know. Never know.
It's true.
Yeah, but it goes along nicely with what we've talked about, to where like there is a hierarchy as far as like probably merit in Kaido's crew, but as far as strength goes, his calamities are kind of all on par. They treat each other like brothers. They talk shit to each other and
really
demoralize
one
another.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, and they're coming for Queen spot anyway. Who's coming for Queen spot anyway?
Yeah, Queen could just literally be number 3, like arbitrarily, solely based off of like merit. You know, King's done more. He's not necessarily stronger, but he's done more for me. He's been around longer. He's my number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
or maybe on the crew longer, maybe
with
smarter.
what you guys were saying, you know, King is an air enemy. Queen is landlocked. So makes more sense for Zoro to fight him. But
makes the most sense for Jinbei to fight him.
It's hard to say at this point. But Jinbei and Queen.
Who's Jinbei fighting? You know, like, it's just I feel
there's like
just
30 enemies to fight. You can take your pick. I don't know.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah, who's who? Jinbei can fight who's who.
Yeah, you never know how big.
You know, like,
well, I mean, if it's the hulking enemy situation, we haven't seen half of their Zoan transformations.
Yeah,
so
the Zoans,
it's like,
yeah.
So it's like depending on how big
who's,
they get when they turn into Zoan forms.
Who's
like,
turning into a saber-tooth tiger? Like that's, I'm pretty confident.
Fucking numbers.
He's got the Catgirl squad. Why would he not? You know.
That's tight. Like
sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. But I mean, it's definitely some theory crafting there. You know, it's hard to say anything.
It
for
is
sure,
so hard to say anything for sure, even though a lot makes sense. Like a lot makes sense inside of what we've been shown so far, but there's so much happening.
I'm sticking with this one till the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Wrong
oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm just saying like as much as how confident we can be with what's being shown to us right now, there's so much happening behind the scenes and beneath the surface that can create so many different situations that we have no hope of trying to predict. So it's like, yeah.
But damn, this last page, it just made me smile.
Dude, this is
exactly.
It gave me goosebumps. It gave me goosebumps because it's like we really legitimately have not seen this since Fishman Island. So like that's a really big deal.
Yep. There's no way. There's no way. And I'm telling you, man.
That'll do.
Even Usopp looks ready as fuck,
That's what
bro.
I was
like,
gonna say. My man
like,
Usopp looks tight as fuck. I love how he looks with the armor, you know, and the fucking his shit pulled back.
The Kabuto.
He's got the drip coming out, you know, with the little Yosaku headgear on or whatever, you know.
Yes.
Like I think I really need him to do stuff.
He's gonna activate,
and not just convince people to do stuff for him.
He's gonna activate. Promise you. Everyone's doing something cold-blooded this arc. Oda knows it's time.
Do we think the minks are getting off screen?
No. Well,
the minks are getting their ass beat by Kaido right now.
Exactly.
No.
Does Luffy pull up to the top and they're fucked up?
And they're all defeated when he gets up there.
Defeated,
He's not. Oda's not going to do the Sulong transformation right now because the last time we saw the Sulong transformation, it was just happening. We need to see a glorious Sulong moment, even if it's not a total victory. We need to see them going ham first before they're defeated. They can't just go Sulong and then just be defeated the next time.
And here's how I thought of it. I thought of only Nekomamushi and Inuarashi being still in the battle when Luffy gets up there. The rest of them are all KO'd. Okay. And Luffy takes the battle over so Inuarashi and fucking Nekomamushi can go fight Jack. Yes, and that's why that was my whole tell me that just doesn't fit. Those puzzle pieces fit so immaculately, at least in my mind. I don't want if other things happen, obviously it's going to make a ton of sense. And you guys are all right. There's a lot of fucking chaos with a war like this. Matchups can just shuffle completely. Things can just happen. Yeah. Explosion, boom, and the people get knocked in different directions. Okay, now I got all right. I got to square up with fucking Sasaki or one of these other Toby Roppo or whatever. So yeah. But hell yeah, man, this shit was so hype. Yes. So hype. Love this chapter.
Yes.
Shonen Jump of the week of the year of forever. Greatest week of all time.
It feels like it, but it's at a stage in all of these stories where the next week could easily upstage it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like
not Jujutsu. This is the best Jujutsu chapter I ever read in my life, man.
It's a very good Jujutsu chapter.
Oh, that's man. Yes, I love this. I love all these stories.
Yeah, are we good?
I think we're good.
That's about it.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good.
Well, that'll do it, and that'll be this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that subscribe button while you're down there and hit that noti bell so you stay up to date on when the content is coming out. Make sure you hit that comment section down there. Let us know what you thought of this weekend jump. Ask us any questions you had or tell us, talk that shit, whatever.
Hey.
Also, be sure to visit that link tree in the description box down below, like we said at the beginning, where you can find links to any and all of our online communities, audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, such services.
Yes.
And also links to support the podcast if you would be so kind, such as our Patreon link, where you can check out our tiers on there, where you can subscribe to different levels of extra content we release, ranging from early access to all of our content all the way up to a completely separate different shonen podcast that we do on there where we cover 5 different series weekly. So 4 right now, but five in the future. So
yes.
With all that said, this will be another incredible episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Eagle.
Peace, y'all. It's Kiko.
Noxie.
And Nickums.
Saramada.